Hello, everyone out there. Hope you guys are doing well. My PTG fam, we got another amazing show for you guys today. It's truly spectacular show. We're so lucky to have Oliver on. This show is brought to you by G2 Paintball. It is a paintball athletics company designed to help you become the best possible paintball player you can be. I know personally, when I play paintball, I'm using every single muscle from my head to my toes to win these games out here. And you really got to be at the top of your athletic game when you're trying to climb the ranks or become pro. And G2 Paintball helps you do that. Their training is implemented to maximize performance on and off the field. Not only in your everyday life are you going to feel better, but also when you step onto that paintball field, you're going to be able to dominate out there. It is used by Dynasty. We implement these tactics and athletic training programs into our practices. And, we always try to stay sharp athletically. That way we can do the best we possibly can on the field for coach and for the organization. And it's pushing paintball players to become better athletes and go pro in the league. So if you're interested in that, give g2paintball.com a look and take your athletic game to the next level. These guys are outstanding. The show is also brought to you by Transfuse. It is a rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula that is scientifically designed to replenish at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients, which is amazing. It combats dehydration, mental exhaustion, supports your immune system, and is also a great hangover remedy. If, prior or after a night of drinking, it's a great little remedy for you there. One of the most important ingredients in this is the zinc. They have zinc, which is an essential vitamin in regulating immunity, treating common cold, and improving brain function and memory. And speaking of that, Transfuse also has tons of vitamin B3 to help lower cholesterol, boost brain function, and aids in body just tremendously. Your whole body is going to feel a lot better. Also, 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C for that immunity boost. And it's used by athletes, festival goers, first responders, military service, people recovering or trying to prevent the cold. And it's just a tremendous product. I just had a little bit earlier, and it tastes so good. If you mixed Gatorade, Pedialyte, coconut water, Emergency, and that had a baby, it still wouldn't be as powerful as Transfuse and be able to do all the things that it does. If you want to check that out, go to translabs.com. That's translabs.com. And if you input play the game and use that promo code play the game, you get 10% off on your order. And that would be a great way for you guys to support the show and boost your immunity and just feel all around better. This show is so spectacular. We have Oliver Lang on, and it goes very deep. We have an in-depth conversation about life, paintball, his journeys, and we really hope you enjoy the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's dive right in.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication. And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
Oliver Lang, the man, the myth, the legend, best to ever do it. One of our most amazing friends. Someone Tyler and I both have looked up to our entire lives. Someone we love. Dude, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Yes, Ollie, baby.
We got him, dude. We got him.
Raise the roof.
Mm-hmm.
My pleasure. It's an honor to be on this show with you fine gentlemen, creating this podcast to inspire and inform the new generations of paintball. I think it's a beautiful thing. Like I said to you, Marsh, that you should have done this a couple years ago.
Totally.
What are you waiting for, guys?
Yeah. Well, again, we did also talk about this too. You've been in the future your whole life. So you saw it before we could see it. But we're here now. That's all that matters. We're here.
Yeah.
Amen.
In the moment. That's where we need to be. It's a beautiful thing. There's an Amber alert going on. Crazy.
It's funny. Sometimes you need.
They heard Oliver was on. I got an Amber alert.
Sometimes you need things to happen, and with everything that's going on in the world right now and paintball kind of being on hold, Tyler and I, it's just the the perfect time for us to start up this project. And dude, it's been a lot of work, truly. Like, it's fun to do these shows. We love it, but the back end stuff, there's a lot more to it than we even realize, and we're still learning, you know? So
Absolutely.
without this time, it would have been tough. But enough about us, man. This is about you. We're so stoked to have you, man. What's been going on?
Yeah, just living.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like I've been, in a sense, preparing for something of this current time situation for a while, and I don't know. I've been in the flow of the spirit and feeling and listening, and for some reason been guided to this place to live in Bali in a very safe and sustainable environment. So it feels good. I had a message last year to build a house, so I built a house, and
Wow.
so this is like my little energy. It's my little art project, and it feels good to be living in it. And amongst all the pandemonium in the world and what's going on, which I don't really know too much, to be honest, but I feel it. I feel very happy to be where I am in my current situation, and it fortifies the feeling and the following of the path that I've been on, because it's like, okay, this is where I need to be, So it feels good.
Absolutely.
How is it out there with coronavirus, COVID-19? Are you guys taking precautions? What's been going on in that area? I don't even know. I've got no clue.
Small dramas. When you go through a village, they'll spray some like soap on your scooter handlebars. It really doesn't do anything. And then you go to the cafes, you got to wear a mask, and then as soon as you get into the cafes, you take the mask off and you start talking to the person next to you. So it's all kind of an illusion,
Gotcha.
But it's not so dramatic here. Indonesia is far behind the rest of the world in a sense, and that's why I also like to live here. It's got a sense of like more organicness, less rules, less I'm kind of almost invisible, to be honest, because I just live on a visa, like a tourist visa, and so it's like I don't really exist.
What a beautiful experience. My God, that sounds absolutely astounding. Yeah. Can you kind of give me a sense of what the energy is like there, and just what it's like to, I mean, my God, you built your own house.
That's crazy, dude.
You're living in the pinnacle of, the most nonsensical times, but still so level-headed and full open-heartedness. And kind of give me a essence of what it's like out there in your space.
Yeah, well, I live in this magical island, which is called Bali, Indonesia. Bali is well known for the movie, the Eat, Pray, Love movie, which is a beautiful movie if you haven't seen it, and it's got some very honest truths to that movie. The island itself is a magical island, and it's the people who live here, the Balinese people, have been for hundreds and thousands of years been really like offering daily, praying, and so the veil here is very thin. The energy is very high. The connectivity between the material and the non-material world is real. You can feel it just on a level of this subtle level of powerful energy, because there's so many temples too. There's thousands and thousands of temples. Each village has temples. Each family house has temples. Each garden has a temple, and each day each woman puts out about 100 offerings per their living space. So each day they put out these little things called chenangs, which are little flower offerings, and each woman, this is each woman, even young girls, 100 of these a day. So each woman offering 100 times a day. It's very intentional, and so you feel this potency to it. And they're in tune with the lower energies also. So they put like an offering on the ground with like a cigarette or some sugar for the lower vibrational entities.
Yeah.
And I live in this magical place called Ubud, which is right in the center, which actually means medicine. It comes from a word ubad, which means medicine. And people come here to heal. It's like a healing mecca. People come from all over the world, and they don't even know what they're doing here. They don't even know why they're coming. Like, I came here multiple times before I even knew what I was doing. I still don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing yet, but it was a softening, and it was a process that was undergoing before I even knew what it was. And that's happening to everybody. If you're coming here just to have a weekend party away from your, traditional regular week, there's something that's occurring there, and there's beauty. You see it. There's frangipani trees lined all over the island, and you can just pick up these frangipani flowers and smell them. Put it in your ear, and there's something magical to the simplicity of that not a lot of people ever even get to do. So the island is robust. It's got all these rivers. It's got jungle, rice paddies. And I live a little bit out of town, about 15 minutes. So I get this gorgeous, glorious scooter ride. And there's a huge volcano here called Mount Agung. It erupted a little while ago, and it was kind of on the news.
Yeah.
And it's just this mysterious mountain that is kind of where a lot of energy goes towards. So whenever you build a house, you have to build a temple that's towards Mount Agung, and you have to sleep with your head towards Mount Agung.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so they're very in tune to these natural aspects of the island.
Yeah.
This island has a religion. It's somewhat Hindu now, but the religion is actually the water religion. The Tirtha Agama water religion. And so a lot of the water is always, they use water for everything, for healing, for blessing, for cleansing, for praying. And there's just springs and springs and springs all over the place, and you can go fill up your water from these springs. And I live maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes from the Maha Mama Bali Springs, which is called Tirtha Pool. And you can go into them and bathe, and there's a certain sequence of different spouts with different orifices that come out with water that cleanse different aspects of you, your mind, your hearing, your sight, your dreams. You can even use them to clean machines. Everything has a spiritual aspect here, and I don't even know what's all going on. I just kind of live in it and feel it. And I'm blessed to even have that ability. And the Balinese people are so sweet, and they just hold you so tight and so tenderly, and they really just give you that opportunity to soften and become who you are, in a sense. And so I'm forever grateful for them. They're on a different frequency than most human beings are that I've ever met. They're very in tune. When I see you, we can feel each other like a heart to heart, and we can smile from a distance without even knowing that I'm looking at you. And that's like a heart resonant connection. And the Balinese, all of them have that for the most part. It's a very fascinating thing. You can just be driving down the road, and all of a sudden the rice farmer and the rice paddy, half a mile away, looks at you, and you smile and he smiles. And it's like, how'd you know that I was coming?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And it's just a very incredible place. And I'm very blessed to even be able to call this home, or even be able to live here for the time that I've been here. It's a tremendous honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you and I, we had, some fun in Mount Shasta one time, and we've connected with the water. And there's, people can say what they want, but there's nothing higher than the energy and the water and these pure natural elements that keep us thriving and keep us alive. And I think that, if you talk to a lot of successful people, they would definitely be following on that trail and have something to say in those regards. But I will never forget being in Mount Shasta with you. We did this crazy sweat lodge with the indigenous people from Mount Shasta, and my mom was even in there, and it was me, you, and my mom. And there was people peeling off left and right. They're like, "Get me out of here. It's pitch black. It's 100 million degrees inside there, and your face feels like it's melting straight off your body." You have to go and dip down to the ground to just get some air because it's so hot at the top. And right after we did that, we jumped into the freezing cold ice. We had to break through the ice to jump into that water. And I was sick for a week, and I will never forget it. It was the best time of my life. Yeah.
That sounds like great sauna bathing into the ice baths.
Exactly.
Oliver and I got to spend some time with Oliver in Thailand a couple years ago. That was awesome. And it's just tradition. It's something that you do to benefit yourself, because it does. There's like
Totally.
major healing properties in this kind of stuff. So it's I've always loved the Asian culture because they approach
Hmm.
things so naturally, and there are such beautiful natural ways to heal and to live a better life. And the sauna here, I go to my local gym, and since it's been closed for almost 2.5 months now, it's been terrible. I just want to go to the sauna. I want to be able to go and do these things to make myself feel better, because it works.
Hmm.
But we don't have it, and it's such a bummer. But and you're smiling right now. For people that are just listening on YouTube, Oliver's like, and we got it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're living it naturally, which is amazing. But
Hmm.
yeah, and as far as like healing, you out there, your partners are own a deprivation tank center, right? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. So
Yeah.
we brought we opened a float tank business here, which is sensory deprivation, and I've always been an advocate of it. It's another modality of just kind of understanding yourself more. It's a
Yeah.
forced meditation in a sense, and it's quite uncomfortable for a lot of people if you've got a static and erratic brain, mind, and not in so much cohesion. But it's actually what you need, and the
Yeah.
stillness is prime, and the silence is prime. And this is still a new practice for me, but it's been showing great yielding results in the past 3 years of floating on a regular basis. So I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
quite the future, actually. I think you've already seen it in futuristic movies of these big saline, uh, you know, big buildings with all these saline pods in it, with all these bodies floating in it. You can see it in the sci-fi movies. So I
Yeah.
think it's got something. It's still developing, and I kind of want to be there at the moment that it takes off. So.
You, my friend, are on the cusp of what the ultimate reality will be. There's nothing more important than silence. There's nothing more fundamental
Mm-hmm.
than silence. It's when you can connect with nature, connect with yourself, um, and more than ever right now, people need silence. We have
Mhm.
got to
Mm-hmm.
turn off the TVs. We have got to listen to our hearts and really tap in, because these are groundbreaking times that we're in. And my heart goes out to anybody affected right now, and truly I mean that. But we've really got to tap into less and make it more, and get into a float tank, go to a sweat lodge and just have silence, or just take that time at the end of the night to have 30 minutes of silence, because it is fundamental and so groundbreaking. When you're quiet, the big ideas come. When you're quiet and you have that time to reflect, you become your own mirror, and you can see far more clear than you ever would. So
Mm.
I absolutely love what you're doing. I'm your biggest fan, Oliver. I love watching your whole story.
Hey,
And
whoa, take it easy, dude. You might be second biggest fan, maybe. Chill,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
But I'm a big fan of you too, Tyler. Your ability to express those things, and I think you're going to have a powerful. Uh, you're going to be a powerful teacher of this sort of stuff for the next generations of people. Like you're right on the cusp of it. And even Marcelo, you've gone through a lot of processes of injuries and in a sense forced meditations. And you have to see why those are appearing and why you have to overcome them. And you've triumphed greatly, and you had a massive knee injury, and then you came back, and it's like all these things are part of a spiritual development, whether you know it or not. Actually, in fact,
Totally.
even paintball and any game you play is a part of the spiritual development. You're just, most of the time, you're not aware of it. In fact, honestly, you're playing paintball for the silence. You don't even know that. You're going out there because this is a meditation,
Being in the
and
moment is a meditation.
you're not thinking about paying the bills, or you're not thinking about your girlfriend. You're not thinking about all the uh, the things that life throws at you. You're really in the moment. You're in the now, and in fact, you're silent. Yeah, and then what happens? You go and you practice. You practice. You practice. You go to the event. You play. You play. You play, and then you win. And what is it? You're actually looking for that massive release of silence and peace and final solace. Yeah. So that's,
Absolutely.
without anybody even knowing, that's actually what you're going for. The thing
Yeah.
is, you can have that all the time, every day. You can have that with each breath you take. You just don't know that, you know? So that's something that I've been tuning into. It's like, okay, look, I can fight with all my tooth and nails to win paintball tournaments, but what am I actually fighting for? What am I actually doing? How can I make that sustainable? How can I actually make this a day-to-day occurrence, an hourly occurrence, a minute-by-minute occurrence? How can I win every day, every hour, in every situation? It's not necessarily even about winning. Again, it's about having that peace and that solace and that silence of understanding of what's occurring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even if you don't win, if you understand why and understand what was happening, it could be a profound win.
Absolutely.
I just want to touch on two things about the silence. And the reason I brought up your business, Oliver, it's something that I know you've been talking about for a long time. It's something I've been curious about for a long time. I just never went and actually did it. And before the Vegas event, I was even talking to Archie, and I was like, dude, this is definitely something I'm going to do before every single event. And Archie let us, he goes camping. He likes to go and camp. Similar thing, some sort of silence, this meditational type thing, right? The day before I was supposed to leave for Vegas, I went and did the deprivation tank for an hour. And it was, you're right, it's forced meditation. And it's, you have those 2 weeks of practice where it's just go, go, go nonstop. You're constantly thinking about the layout, different things, your job, positions, game plans, practice, exerting your body to the maximum ability, doing as much as you can to get ready for the event. And I decided the day before I want to go and just completely free the mind of everything, get everything out, because you're not losing it. You're just giving it a rest. You're giving yourself a little bit of a reset. And going into Vegas, I haven't felt that good in an event in a very long time. I truly haven't. And I attributed it to that. I remember coming out of the tank, I was like, whoa, I was ready to go home and just fall on my bed. I truly felt so relaxed. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And, then we went to the event, and I just felt so good. I felt so clear in all of my moves, my thoughts, understanding things, conversing with the teammates. Like, it was really helpful. And for people listening, if our opponents are listening too, good. Hopefully you benefit from it. That's great. But I do also, it's funny that we talked about this, because Oliver, you posted this today, and that's why I got my phone here, but you posted it from Albert Einstein. I think 99 times and find nothing. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. It is so powerful. People don't understand. We live in such chaotic times where, Tyler and I had a phone call last night. We talked on the phone for about an hour, and we were just kind of breaking down a lot of stuff that's going on. You said you're not too familiar with what's happening over here in the US, but there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of craziness. And there kind of always is. If you turn on the TV and you tune in, it's very easy to get sucked into the dramas, and some of it's very real. I get it. A lot of it is very real for people, and people are going through these tragedies, but it's important to give yourself that silence too, because otherwise it's really difficult to navigate. It's so difficult to be able to just continue powering through. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're almost bulldozing through each day, just trying to, full head of steam. And you don't give yourself a chance to be your best self, because you don't give yourself a chance to rest, your mind a chance to rest and really figure things out. And so that's something super powerful that I hope people listening realize that, and I know you also, we're definitely going to get into this later too, but you do a lot of that, a lot of the work that you do on your website. You offer these kind of classes, and it's for people listening, it's not BS. Tyler and I are super lucky because we grew up around you, especially me playing on the Ironman, playing with Aftermath, playing against you. I'm sure you do know, but you've had such a massive influence on my life, my perspective, how I look at things. And it's made a big difference on and off the field, probably mostly off, to be honest. And that's where the true magic happens. But there's a way to look at things. There's a way to approach things. There's a way to, give yourself the best chance to be happy, which at the end of the day, that's the ultimate thing, right?
Absolutely.
No, thanks for that reflection, Marcella. We're all athletes. And what is an athlete? What does an athlete mean to you? And what does an athlete embody? An athlete embodies this insane amount of focus and attention onto a goal that needs to be revealed or manifested. And in that process, a warrior or an athlete is the same thing. He has to know what he's doing. He has to become very clear of what's going on in his surroundings so that he can, pretty much trim the fat and be really lean. And all all of this comes down to mental fluctuations. If your mind is scattered and all over the place, then you're going to be scattered and all over the place. You're not going to be able to perform to your highest ability. And that's it, you know? An athlete can really say, hey, no, I can't hang out this Friday night and go drinking because I've got a program that I'm on, and I'm exercising at this time, and I'm doing this, and I'm seeing this mindset coach, and I'm journaling, and I'm writing, and I got to run, and I got to eat, and I'm going to do this, and then on that. It's like it's a very focused, disciplined lifestyle. Now, when you don't know how to harness your energy is when you go out there and you start causing real chaos and real havoc amongst yourself and amongst others, you know? And that's what's happening, is a lot of people just don't have an understanding of the energy that's boiling through them, and they don't know where to put it, and they put it into negative ways, you know? It's like if you take a glass of water, and you put dirt into it and you shake it up, how do you clean that dirt?
Well,
you can say, oh, maybe I put a filter on it. Maybe I'll strain it out. But really,
you never should have shook it.
You just put it down and you let it sit, and all the dirt settles to the bottom, and then the rest of it's clean. Yeah. And that's what essentially going into the silences and going into the meditation and going into the contemplation. Yeah. So when you don't have that, those tools, you are frazzled and you're fried and you're disturbed and you're angry and you're in fear and you're pretty much not producing the results that you need to produce. Think about all the great events you've ever won. Think about how clear your mindset was, how practiced you were, how fit you were, how prepared you were. You know, you didn't show up to the event scatterbrained and fat from eating junk food for the past week and not exercising. You showed up, you know, you showed up disciplined and you showed up prepared. And so then you got a result. And that's what we got to do for life. Nobody look at the game of paintball in a nutshell. It's very similar to the world almost, in a sense. You know, there's about a few teams that win. There's about a handful of guys who are actually really pros and who really take this thing seriously. And the rest of the people are a bunch of jokers, you know, even the people who are putting on these situations. So it's like the world right now. How many people are going and rioting and killing each other and burning cars and doing these things? This is not rebellion. This is ignorance, you know? This isn't going to get you anywhere. This isn't going to do anything. Real rebellion is internal. Real rebellion is showing up, practicing, and becoming diligent, becoming disciplined, becoming vigilant to yourself so that you can produce results in this reality. Most people aren't producing results in this reality, and that comes from a day-to-day to even in paintball or any sport you're playing. There's only a few small percentage of individuals who actually produce results, and everybody talks about producing results, but nobody ever really does. It's the same thing in life. Oh, I want to be, this, and most people never actually even do it. Well, because they don't believe it, they don't have the success mindset, the mood, and it's way too far away. And that becomes polarized also. So then you do negative things, you know? It's a really interesting game, but the game is there so that you can wake up to the game, you know? And like you said, Marcelo, majority of the things that I've inspired you on are beyond the field. And that's actually what I'm all about. It's pathetic if I just give you a few flashy moves to win a tournament. This is really ephemeral. I don't even remember it, you know? But I remember the golden nuggets that I can give you that you can bestow upon yourself on a daily basis so that you can become a more rounded, better human being, you know, better to yourself, better to your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your friends and your family and your community, you know? I mean, this is real warrior shit, you know? This isn't just talk, you know? And if you're not that, then you're rebelling and you're doing these things that are very harmful towards each other and society. And you blame other races and you blame other genders and you blame other people. The blame ain't nowhere else besides yourself.
Absolutely. What does it mean to be a warrior of life to you? Like what does that mean? Because I know that the warrior mindset is something that you hold prized, and like as one of obviously you're Oliver Lang. You crushed paintball. I mean, just obliterated it. And you had a warrior's mindset. So I would love to know what that means to you.
Yeah, because there's definitely two sides to you too. On the paintball field, you're a savage.
Well,
Definite
you
warrior.
got to know what it is. You got to know what it is that you're showing up to do, you know, and you got to know if you, I actually want to ask you what it means to be an athlete, Tyler, because I think you already know this answer. And just give it to me. You can take a second if you don't want to answer right away, but like, what is the essence of the athlete to you? Like you showing up for a dynasty event, what does that mean?
It's being completely present in the moment and open to all realm of possibilities with my brothers alongside of me, and living in a lit space, living in an extremely lit space of just it's just unlimitless. It's
You
expansive
already did
and
it. You already nailed it. It's
yeah.
being 100% in service to the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what it means to be a warrior. So whatever's being presented to you at the current time, how can you be in service to it? And what is it revealing to you about you and your life? This is the same thing as being an athlete.
Hmm.
You know, like when the situation occurs on the field, how do you become in service to it? And what I mean by that is like, how are you reacting?
Hmm.
You know, like think about it. Think about a time where, you know, you lose 2, 3 people off the bat, or maybe you shoot
Hmm.
2, 3 people off the bat, and you go through the center of the field and you clean it up. It's like the world is presenting itself to you at that very moment, in that instant. How are you handling it? What
Hmm.
are you doing to take it into to make the most of it, to take it into your hands and to create whatever it is that you want to create out of it? That's what
Yeah.
a warrior is, you know? And you can do
Mhm.
that every day. You can do that in every situation, in every encounter that you come across every day.
Yeah, it's like supreme awareness of the moment. Yeah, absolutely. It's
But
the
how
most.
hard is that to do, you know? Like think
Oh
about it.
my God, are you kidding? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
like,
you're
yeah.
filled with pre-notions of the way it should be, and most of us are teetering in a low vibrational realm of victimhood, and it's all about why this person do it to me,
Yeah.
why is this happening to me? So
Hmm.
most of the time you can never even flip the script to realize that you're in control of the situation, and this is
Hmm.
why these patterns continuously occur on a day-to-day basis if you're not aware of it. Like my
Hmm.
life is like insane. Like it's the best thing you could ever imagine. Like I don't even post on Instagram because if I posted about my life, you wouldn't believe me, and
Yeah.
that's just the reality of it. But I've
Yeah.
created that in a sense because I'm cleaning the algorithms that are occurring up when situations occur. I dissect them. I dive into them just like a game plan, just like when you play the field and the team beats you really quickly. You go, so wait, what happened here? Oh, you didn't look this way, or you didn't tell me this. And okay, cool. Let's not fight about it. Let's just correct it. And the next time it occurs, we nip it in the butt and we win that match, right?
Dude, it's
Yeah.
all about playing the game.
Play the game,
Playing the
You
baby.
got
game,
to play
baby.
the game, dude.
Yeah. Well, first of
Absolutely.
all, before you play the game, you got to wake up to the game.
Yeah,
Most people
right.
aren't awake to the game. They don't even know what
Yeah.
game they're playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Facts.
Big facts,
Right.
dude. That's amazing. You couldn't have said that better.
100%. So, dude, oh, damn, that was that's fantastic. My goodness. And we're going to dive into so much of that for sure here in a bit, but what we've been doing on the show and we really want to get into as well is how people got into the game of paintball. You know, how your adventure in this sport started. We've had Yosh and Ryan on the show already, and it's funny hearing their different side of things because apparently it was Yosh and Ryan, you and Alex. We haven't had Alex on yet. We know that's going to be a great one. We can't wait.
Yeah.
But like that, those whole stories are super fun. They are also recent on the show. But how did you get into the game? Like, what was your, first interaction with paintball? How did you fall in love with the sport? When did you got it.
Yeah, these are the most important questions, to be honest, you know?
Yeah,
And
totally.
actually, everybody should ask themselves these questions because these are the memories that are actually the most fond within my heart of the first moments I ever played, and the reason why I kept playing, and the reason why I still love the game, you know?
Yeah.
But I played because I had a wealthy friend of mine, and he was going to play for his birthday, you know, and of course we hopped on the train and we went and we played at some really lousy indoor field, and it was just terrible, like terrible ground, terrible guns, terrible paint, just everything was terrible. I don't even think I shot a guy, and but I had fun, you know.
Oh yeah.
It was a typical kind of first time you ever go, and I remember he had a friend, and his friend was, you know, on a paintball team, and they played at some place in Vallejo, and he told me about it. And then
Is
and I
this
think
is this friend anyone? Sorry, is this a friend anyone knows? Is he?
no, he like
No.
there was a team in Vallejo, and it was out of this one other field called the Magic Carpet Bob's Field. I
Oh
forget what it's
yeah,
called.
Okay.
He had
yeah.
the
Carpet
Hornets.
Bobs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tight.
he had a Hornets team, which was so cool. Actually, I think pretty much anybody could join. Like you just pay like $10, and then you became a Hornet. And these guys were actually really cool. Like because
Yeah.
you don't know. You see somebody who's got the gear. You make them whoever you want to make them. So that's what I did to this guy, and he was way up here in the paintball echelon at that point, but he probably wasn't even any good. But so we ended up never going to Magic Carpet Bob's. We ended up going to Mare Island because it was closer to our house. And we went on a Halloween weekend. And I remember like crawling through the anise and like kind of coming around the back. And I had the pump gun and I just shot this guy in the back. And it was just such an exhilarating feeling. Wow, that was like,
Yeah.
I felt alive. It was like really a keen moment of like feeling alive. And
How old were you?
I think I was like 14. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Nice.
13,
Wow.
14.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we just kind of got hooked. We started playing every once in a while, and then I got Alex into it. I can't remember exactly. I think Alex was there on that weekend too. Yeah, because it was a Halloween. And Alex was a huge benefactor because he was obviously one of my best friends at the moment, but also his dad and his mom were kind of going through a divorce. And so this kind of gave the weekends to Alex's dad, and then I kind of just tagged along. So all of a sudden I got this like free ride to the field every weekend and got to hang out. And his dad took us to eat like Carl's Jr. and pizza, and it was just total fun,
Absolutely.
And then we got more serious into it, and Alex started, his dad started buying him some nicer equipment. And then I was like, okay, well, how do I compete? I got to keep up with this. And I didn't have the cash. So I got a job at the field, which is, I recommend for anybody. I know you guys both had jobs at the paintball field, and any kid who's listening, this is just a great place to start. And I would just ref on the Saturdays, and then I would play on Sunday. Sunday at that time, which is probably still now, was the more of the day to play, and then Saturday was like more rec.
Yeah.
And I just got half a case of paint, and then I would play on Sunday with a half a case of paint with just a loader in my autococker. I forget what I had at that time.
Oh, we heard about the autococker. A lot of people
Yeah.
talk about the autococker that you just really tried to keep using in tournaments. It didn't work. Is this the
I
one?
love it. It's so funny how this works. It's like these guys like love this stuff. Like this is what they talk about on the podcast. They talk about me wanting to use an autococker. Because it's like it's already faded and gone out of mind, but it wasn't that autococker. But yeah,
but it did happen.
But you got to remember too, like Yosh and Ryan, they say that they didn't play for that long, but they were like already way more advanced than we were. They had like SEO autocockers and like nickel plated autocockers.
The nickel plated.
Yeah. Well, they worked at the paintball shop and had all the sweet, sweet deals.
I wanted the cool stuff, I want to use the nice autococker. I got a Spider compact, like you guys know what it's like, I
love it. Yeah, dude. I honestly, I will never forget being a kid, Ollie, and you would come out to Extreme, and you're just timeless, man. Just timeless. Just always a good time. Always just boosting the sport and the game, and just absolutely interstellar dude. Love it.
But it's so funny now. Like this is what I love about life is I love to be able to look at you guys. I'm 37 now.
Yeah.
You guys are probably 29, 30 or something like that. Like I remember looking at you when you guys were like 7. And I can't even remember. Like,
we were little kids.
Yeah. It's full circle for sure. And man, what a ride, huh? It's been pretty insane and definitely action packed. We got a lot of great stories over the years. That's for sure.
100%.
It's so fun to watch you guys evolve.
Yeah, man. And vice versa. And we're all evolving. All of us are evolving every day and we don't even know it sometimes. And the ones that just choose to flip that switch, you can really make leaps and bounds. That's what it's all about.
It's all fluid, baby. It's all fluid, keeps moving.
That's it.
All right, so we got to get into you meeting Yosh and Ryan. You
Yeah.
guys, you and Alex, you guys have your side. You guys go to the field all the time. I think Yosh's side of things was that you guys weren't really cool at first. You guys were like, you guys were, your crew and their crew. You guys kind of had some friction, and then Eric Crandall's the one that brought you guys together. Is that right?
Yeah, like their crew is way cooler, man.
Damn, you had Alex though. Alex is the coolest.
Yeah.
No, but we were just, we were just little kids. It was
Yeah.
me, Alex's a nice friend named Nick, Alex's cousin, and Alex's dad. That was our team, and it was
There we
like,
go.
it was like Yosh, Ryan, like I don't know, 3 other guys with awesome autocockers and long hair and like cut math. You know, they were all like, really badass, and their team was already like the A team. You know, like that was
Okay, yeah.
way beyond us. Yeah, no, but they didn't really show up for a long time. Like I don't know where they played or what they did. Like I think they just bought really nice guns and hung out at the paintball
At the
shop
store.
when me and Alex were actually playing. You know, so
Ryan
we
was
didn't see
posting on
each other for,
Instagram.
like, what's
Yeah.
At
that?
the shop. Ryan was at the shop posting on Instagram.
That was pre-Instagram days. There's probably something else. But yeah, so we didn't link up for a while, and then I think Eric Crandall kind of put a team together down. We went to San Diego and we played an event with Lofty at that time. We were like
That's
Lofty
right.
2 or Lofty 3, and we all just kind of became friends, and that was like the start of us all merging together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Beautiful.
But
Yeah,
still, it was still a little bit off because I think Ryan and I played for like Out of Control, and then Alex and Yosh played for Cap.
Right. Yeah.
So there was like a little bit of dissonance still, but we were still buddies, you know?
Dude, Beaster just called me like 2 days ago and downloaded me with so much information for like an hour or so of just like back history on everything. He's like, I feel like you need to know this. You got the show, you know? I was like, thank you so much. Everybody listening, Beaster is like an OG Dynasty player, and he was around during the Cap days and all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, so Beaster is the man.
Dude,
like,
he is the
Mhm.
man.
I used to look up to Brad. He was like the local pro, you know? And he
Yeah.
was so nice, you know? Like he was such a sweet guy, but he was also really a beast on the field, and he played really good, and he had a really good style. Like he was he was a Mare Island legend, and he for sure helped me out on so many levels. And he really actually was probably one of the first people who like held me as like, like a young predator, or what's the word?
Padawan.
Like the newest subject. Yeah, exactly. A Padawan.
Yeah.
And he really like helped me. And actually like a big lesson I learned from Beast was just watching him, because he would watch the games unfold, and then he would go and do that when he played. And so I started doing that, and I started watching how people did things, and then I'd go play, and then I would do that. And then if there was something on the field that wasn't correct, he would like build a bunker so that he knew how to do it. And then he would go and do it, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so that's a big part of the training of the apprenticeship of paintball, is like, when you work at the field, learning how to build fields and how the game's unfolding, and then creating it the way you need it so that it can be beneficial to you when you play, you know? And that's a luxury you have when you work at the paintball field, you know? But
Absolutely.
Brad really showed me that, and it was super powerful.
Yeah, he was like, I can't control those kids. That's what he was telling me on the phone. He's like, those kids did what they want, you know? I was like, yeah, they did. Absolutely, they did.
They were out of control.
Yeah, baby.
So that was
it.
like amateur B, the out of control team, right? Amateur A, amateur B, something like that.
Yeah, well, there was like a year or two where it was kind of all over the place, because there was a team called Lofty, and then there was also Out of Control. And Out of Control was kind of like Ryan and Yosh's store owner's team, and they had all the badass players, and they were a good team, you know? Like they had I think Brad played on it, and a lot of local celebrities were on that team. And then there was the Iron Man, you know? That's kind of like the tier. And then Lofty was kind of like this weird team that played like novice, and then we played on like a lower Lofty. And then Lofty kind of died, turned into Cap, and then at that same time we went to Out of Control, Ryan and I did. And Cap was like Angel, Yosh, Alex, and then they kind of turned into the Diggers, which was a team that was out of like that part of the California for a little bit that made the shoes.
Yeah.
And
the Diggers are back.
Diggers,
HK,
they are.
HK.
Yeah, HK brought them back.
Yeah,
as they do.
Yeah.
Shout out. I was just out.
By HK.
Yeah, 100%. I was just out at the street ball event today. They had Diggers out there. We had 200 people, dude. It was pretty tight. It was awesome. We had a huge event. We were just playing some rec ball, 100 on 100. It was mass chaos, dude. It was crazy. A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Just like, mingling with the culture, kind of back to the roots. They merged all the concept fields. It was really cool.
Yeah, and that's really our goal with this whole thing is to tap into the culture of the sport and really nurture this for the future generations to come. We want to be able to have future generations be able to inherit a lot of heritage, a lot of history, and love the game and play the game and just get people all over the world to play the game. That's the mission.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good mission.
So Oliver, then you go from Out of Control. You guys started Iron Kids before you went to the Ironman, right? I'm a little okay.
So to clear it up, like how it worked back then was there was the Great Western Series, which was like a Western series, like a West American series of events that was in San Diego and Arizona and Las Vegas and such. And that it was a pretty big league back then. And then there was the NPPL, but the NPPL was really big, and like that was like you're aiming to get to the NPPL. But we played all these Great Western series. Once we got picked up to go to Out of Control, we played in the NPPL, but we didn't have a Great Western Series team anymore. So then what I said was, well, I like all these guys that I've met throughout all these different events. Let's play the Great Western Series as Iron Kids. Wow. I had just met the Iron Men, Davey, and a few of these other guys when I was reffing in Las Vegas, because back in the day you'd have to ref an event to get first place series points.
That's right.
If you want to try to win the series.
Yeah.
So actually, I was playing with Out of Control for a year before I played with the Iron Men, and you could have pros, 2 pros, I believe, back then on the Great Western Series 10-man team. So then I got myself, Alex, Ryan, Yosh, Skinny Kevin, Brian Cole, Opie Lochran wasn't at first, but he came afterwards. We actually had this guy, Sonny Garcia. We had kind of a misfit team, the first team. And we had this guy named, I think his name was Mike Fontaine. Yeah, he was like an FC Village Loke. And then Davey. And then maybe one other person, I can't remember. But we won. And then as soon as we won the Iron Kids, the first Great Western, everybody wanted to be on the team. So then we started to really like build it. And so as we were playing, paralleling the NPPL with Out of Control and Iron Men and Diggers, we were the Iron Kids on another level playing at the Great Western Series events. And that was when we kind of went on a massive run and won like a ton of things as the Iron Kids.
Gotcha. Was that 1 year, just one season?
I think it was one season, maybe a little bit more. And, but there was a decent amount. I think it was about 2 seasons, actually. Yeah. Now that I think about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how did you even how'd you get picked up by the Ironman? You were the first one from essentially the 4 of you guys, you, Yosh, Alex, Ryan, to go pro.
Well, we went down one weekend to play at Borderland. You might remember Borderland.
Yeah, that's where I started playing. That was my first field.
And I actually never played there after that. After this weekend, we went to Borderland and we practiced the Ironman, and they made a movie called The Game On. It was a JT movie. And it was a super cool field. Like, still to this day, no paintball fields have figured out how to really make good fields. I don't know. I haven't seen the fields for lately, so maybe they're figuring them out. But, like, Borderland was an awesome field.
Epic.
It was like this mounds.
That was the best mounds. That was the best mounds field I've ever played on to this day.
Yeah, I still don't understand why many people just haven't figured out how to make good mounds. I don't know.
Yeah.
Art of mound making that needs to be
well, it's
rekindled,
an art.
But this field was awesome, and that was my first kind of interaction with all of the Ironmen as a team. Like I'd seen parts of the guys, like sure Tyler, sure you guys had seen like one pro here and there come out, but then that was like the first time I'd seen all the Ironmen together. It was like Marty Bush and Eric Roberts was on the team, and all these just super big names: Brahima Stefan, Brian Benini, and of course Shane. And we played them on this Mounds field, and I don't know. I didn't even think, I think it's like as a normal kid, you just show up and you're playing. I didn't really put any emphasis on who they were. And, I just played well. And I was kind of doing these crawls that they were like, wow, this kid's like kind of doing these cool crawls that like nobody else is doing. Actually, I did it and then everybody else starts doing it. So that was like, they're like, oh, wow, you could do that. And, they kind of beat us up that weekend. And it was rightful because they're a way better team. Roddy Squires was on the team, the Ironman, and we were just kind of a pretty good, decent amateur team, but not like comparable to the Ironman. And then that night they loved me. Like Maddie and Davey kidnapped me, put me in Davey's little silver Acura. They were like, "We're gonna get you laid," and I was like, "Oh, okay." That's never happened before. And they're like, "You're a virgin, okay, let's go. We're gonna get you laid." And I was like, and they kind of kidnapped me. And so it was like,
how old were you? How old were you at this time?
I don't know, maybe 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
And
dude, I love that.
And then they were like, they just adored me, and I adored them because they were like my bigger brothers. They were rowdy. They had women, they had beer. They were wild guys, The Ironmen have always been known to be wild men, and there's something interesting about that as being a young man, because you can learn something from them, and it's probably going to be difficult, and they're going to challenge you, and they're going to confront you, and they're going to probably beat you up and probably hurt you physically or whatever the case is, but you're prepared to move into that, as you guys all were to get the lumping needed to be who you are now,
Dude, Bob Long hurt me. I'm still damaged from that.
Yeah. Process.
The Ironman with you, Nikki Cuba, Mr. U, Mike Paxson. It's actually Mouse quit the team because of we won World Cup, and like you guys fucked with us so much afterwards. We had these condos in Orlando, and it was like chaos. He was shaving eyebrows, beating people up. Like, dude, and Mouse left the team after we won World Cup. You remember that? He's like, this is it. If you do it, I'm leaving.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah. In hindsight, looking at it now, it looks like abuse, but at the moment, it's like a
definite abuse, but also love and transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of love. It comes in different ways. But totally. So who was your paintball idol during that time, like growing up?
Well, I would say Brad was probably one of my first paintball idols. There's this other guy at the field. His name was Rich No, and he was actually the owner of the Autococker, and he was a paintball idol. Nice. So I had kind of these grassroots paintball idols, and then definitely Angel was like a huge paintball idol because that kid was so good and so sweet, and like he was just Angel was like way ahead of everybody. Like he was better than Ryan and Yosh and me and Alex, but he was also super humble and like just. He didn't make a splash.
I never knew that. That's profound.
Me neither. I didn't know that. I kind of thought he came in after you guys. Actually, I didn't know that he was.
Angel was there before us. He'd been playing for a while, and Angel had a possibility of probably being like the greatest player. He could probably still be one of the greatest players to this day. He just didn't have that mentality. That wasn't his trajectory. And then of course it became Chris Lasoya for a moment, like he was just such a badass player. Like when you watched him play, he was a brute, and back in those days in the woods, like he was a cheater. And so there was something like intimidating about him. And that was a big factor back in those days, like,
and still is. Absolutely.
Cheating is like, now if you cheat, I don't know what it's like now, but at least when I cheated and I played,
Yeah.
It was like you just kind of did it, and it was casual. And some people
Yeah.
were more known for it, and they were like, kind of dicks. But
Yeah.
like, if you were a cheater in the woods, like you really stood out, like because people didn't know what you were gonna do. You were like really an X factor in a scary way. And Lasoya was that.
Whoa.
And he was just he had the angel, and the angel was like coming out of that time, and it was so fast, and it was such a beautiful gun.
Yeah.
And he was just like a paintball god, like he had the long hair, and he had chicks, and he had a super awesome style, and he was loud and obnoxious, and like he was like the super paintball rock star,
Yeah,
so
totally.
you had to love Lasoya, and I learned a lot from Lasoya just watching him and not even playing against him. Like, I don't even think Lasoya and I ever had great battles against each other. It was just me witnessing him as a younger, was my training with him. He was a supreme Jedi in a sense.
Oh, he's still a rock star, dude. I saw him in Vegas, and it's just like you never miss a beat with the guy, And I know your guys' history is much deeper than ours, but it's never dull when you see him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, okay, awesome, dude. Lasoya is awesome. Tyler and I got to play with Lasoya in 2012 with Explicit. That was a great year. And then he was on Infamous with us the year before that. So like, and that's obviously the tail end of his career. He was stretching it out a little bit, but he was still a rock star, man. And just the way he played was so free and like an artist, actually. That's the way he liked to play. It's freestyle. And you got to play off of him because he's going to make something happen. And Lasoya is amazing. True legend in the game. One of the founding fathers of where we are today. Absolutely.
Oh, man. 100%. I mean, I think him and Richie Malachevsky was another idol of mine, but Richie was like much more quiet and a little bit more more like he wasn't as much of a brute. He was more of a tactician, He was more like, and he was goofy. Like he didn't look so good when he played. Like Chris looked good. Like Chris looked suave. He looked, like you said, like poetry. He looked like a brush stroke on a canvas. Richie was like a little like goofy and like had glasses and like shot hip and like kind of like.
It's like Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like Alex. a little bit like Alex. Yeah. But he played more on his feet. Alex plays more like on the knees and lower. Richie never really put down on his knees too much.
Yeah. And speaking of Alex, my God, dude, that guy, we could go on forever about Eggman. He's
man.
Dude, he's the best. I like every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, baby, let's go. Eggs.
He misses you a lot, Oliver. He misses you a lot. We all do.
Does.
We all do.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
But he really does. Everyone gets up on him now.
Yeah, just come back, dude. Come on, bro. Just cut it out.
Yeah, just break the news right here on the show. Come back.
Who are we gonna cut then?
Dude, everyone.
Everyone's out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that if that's the deal. Just us three.
Okay, us three. All right, we're gonna have to pick some people up.
Yeah.
No, I think we can handle it. I really think we can handle it.
Dude.
We'd have some good games. It would be some really good games.
We really got to test ourselves as being Dynasty members and being already like great Valiant winners. Like, why not just start playing as 3-man against 5 guys? Win the tournament. People will be like, "Holy shit, these guys are actually really good." There's only 3 of them. So it's like,
there we go.
Need other 2 guys.
Yeah. I mean, I got full faith.
Absolutely.
I got full faith.
Yeah.
I'm breathing in the light right now. I'm ready.
Dude, actually, here's some crazy news. The rocket that just shot into space is called the Dragon. They sent the Dragon to space. So it's only fitting.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's only fitting that we have this conversation and bring the Dragon back from space and onto our team. Yeah.
I love it.
Here, I'll show you something real quick. This is my bed. And I'm going to just show you this real quick, yeah?
Tune in on YouTube.
Yeah.
Get in on the YouTube. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's got the Dragon, dude.
There we go.
I sleep right next to the Dragon every day.
Whoa. What is that carved out of?
This is like a sandstone.
Wow. That's amazing. It's this beautiful dragon carved out of sandstone that he sleeps underneath. every night. That's heavy duty. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oliver
amazing.
is the dragon, dude.
You are, baby.
I
The
love it.
dragon in the flesh.
Well, the dragon is a mythical creature on all levels. Like in the West, it's something different than the East, and it's interesting that we chose the dragon as dynasty, or that the dynasty even before I came was already the dragon, or whoever made that. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe people at JT.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like unconscious, conscious, and but
Wow.
the dragon is this mythical creature that you have to slay within yourself also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an internal thing, and it's also an externalized aspect of, of many different things. So the dragon's a very interesting. What is it called when
it's like an archetype? It's like it transcends time. It's everywhere. If you look on all the temples, they're everywhere. If you just look in everyday culture of Asian culture and even Western culture, you see the dragon all over the place. It's pretty amazing.
Totally.
Yeah, and the whole name of the team, Ryan was saying he I think it was him and Alex, or maybe it was, not Yosh, because Yosh was on the Ironman. I think it was him and Alex. They were down at SDSU thinking of names, and they were like looking through a dictionary or a thesaurus, and he said Impact was one of the names, and then they got the Dynasty, and they're like, oh, this is kind of bold to call our team Dynasty when we're just starting. But it absolutely turned into a Dynasty, kind of crazy. Just put it into motion.
There's a lot of power behind names.
Yeah,
there's a lot of power behind names.
Absolutely.
So, this is the magic of life. Yeah. It's belief also, naming yourself Dynasty. Well, you got to live up to that, and you got to be that. And then also everybody's always amping you up. Dynasty, you're a dynasty, you're a dynasty. It's unconscious also. We don't even know these types of things, you know?
Totally.
And, but they're a big part of the reason why there's so much success behind that,
Yeah. Well,
teams with powerful names succeed,
People with powerful
names don't succeed with ridiculous names. If you're the clown jester Joker team, you usually don't win, like has there ever been a team that's won? They're called the Jester Jokers, or the clown, or the whatever.
Not that I can remember. Yeah. And I think that you're hitting on something huge here, Oliver, and it's, that words are the most powerful tool you can use in your experience here. Your words become your reality, essentially. What you project yeah, absolutely. You project it from the inward, it becomes manifest outward. And it's all from the thoughts that we choose to, and we choose, right? It's our choice that we choose to implement like a warrior does in battle, and implementing those tactics to play the game, to be the best that you possibly can be.
Well, it's like when you go into a scrum or a huddle before the match, what are you doing? You're using words to amp yourself up, What if we went into a huddle and we said, you suck, you're going to be terrible, we're going to lose, we're awful.
No, but teams do that actually, dude. Teams do that. I've had players. Yeah. Oh, they never win. Exactly. They tell me stories like, dude, I was at the start gate, and right before the game started, I was like, oh, I'm for sure gonna get shut off the break, and they're telling me this as if I'm gonna laugh, and I just sit back and I go, you thought that was like a funny thing to say to your teammates right before the point started? What are you talking about? Did you guys win the tournament? Oh no, we got 7th. Well, yeah. What do you mean, dude? Your entire mojo's off. Yeah. What?
It's so unconscious. People don't realize how much each other tear themselves down. This is why team dynamic is an essential, valuable. Is one of the most essential values of the team, because you need each other to lift each other up. The minute that you start tearing each other down, especially from a coaching perspective, a lot of coaches are very negative and very debilitating to their players.
Very true.
But also these are just manifestations of what people are thinking to themselves internally too. So it's an outward expression of something that people are thinking. I don't think this. I know you guys don't think this, but this is a high caliber of thinking, and you still might. I mean, I still have negative thoughts and debilitating thoughts come through every once in a while. But this is also an aspect of being the warrior and athlete is to recondition those phrases and to reorganize them in such a way that they are more advantageous and not so debilitating.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a super slippery slope, because it's very easy to, we're human beings. We have an emotional guidance system. We have all these, sporadic things that happen to us. We're humans, you know, and to be able to navigate that is a definitely a huge task, as I know all of our listeners. Yeah.
That's the task of mastery. That's what you're actually here to be doing. To cop out and say, oh, well, I'm human is a cop out. You're not.
That's
you're
right.
a fucking master. Yeah.
Yes.
You're a master of your emotions. You're a master of your feelings. You're a master of what you think, say, and act. Yeah. Can you actually master those things? That's what you're here to do. Anytime you have anything that's debilitating to yourself, you need to nip it in the butt right away. And that's the warrior attitude. That's the athletic attitude. Like if you showed up to the tournament and somebody said, oh, I can't play. I'm not making this. I'm too weak. You know, you're not going to win. It's the same thing in everyday life. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I can't have that girl. I can't have that guy. I can't have that money. I'm not, why does he have it and I don't have it? It's like, no, you actually can have it. You're a master.
Yeah.
Create it. Figure out how to create it. Figure out what you need to do in order to make it happen. Figure out the steps. There's the steps. People say, I want to be pro. I want to be like Oliver Lang. I want to be like Marcelo. I want to be like Tyler. I want to be on Dynasty. But fuck, you don't ever show up to the paintball field. You never even try. How can you actually even do it? You're dreaming of the dream that's not even yours to dream, you know?
And that is so pivotal. What you just said, dude, is you are the master of your experience. That is the foundational pivotal point of growth right there, is remembering. And I think I choose that word remembering because I feel like you all have it all inside of you. We all have it all right there sitting on our face. It's right there in front of you, you know, and you just have to remember how powerful you are. Don't believe the TV. Don't believe these people that try to bring you down. Remember how powerful you are and run with it, and just stop thinking about other people and run with that power, because it's right there on you.
And you're right. And it's easy to say, and you say it well, but the real thing is to actually remember. The whole game is remembering. Can you remember it when you're at that precipice of reacting and sinking into lower habitual patterns?
I think a really important thing for people to remember and understand as well too. I mean, Tyler, we had somebody that messaged us on the Play the Game Instagram that was going through a tough time, and we were, he was asking how we always remain so positive and how we, approach things the way we do. I think it's also important to understand that it's not about always 100% of the time having that mindset. It's more of having the mindset to be able to overcome the negative things that come your way, and it's not that everything's going to always be perfect or good or the way that you want them. It's the mindset to overcome the negative things that you're approached with. And that really is, because just the idea of being happy all the time is an illusion. You can be, but through optimism. And then what is optimism? Optimism is not being happy all the time, in my opinion. It's understanding that things can get better and that you're in control and that you can navigate. There's going to be hardship. There's going to be tough things in a lot of people's lives. And,
totally,
you might think a little differently, but I truly believe that almost anyone, you're going to have these hardships. I think they do shape you in a way, but it's understanding that you can get over them. You can get around them. You can maneuver through them, and you're going to. It's also the confidence that you're going to. That is how I personally have been able to maintain. And, Tyler, we've talked about it as well. That's how we've been able to maintain that type of mindset. It's that understanding that, well, look, here's a problem. I'm just going to go through the steps to get through it and overcome and be better, so that it doesn't happen again. I can prevent, I can, get myself to the place that I want to be. Like, I think that's an important thing for people to understand. It's not this illusion that things are dandy all the time, because it's
the opposite. It's the complete opposite.
Sometimes it is the opposite for people, but it's the understanding that I can get through this. It's the confidence that I can get through this. It's the will to get through it. And then you come out on the other side and you're just that much better, and you have that happiness.
It's like a paintball match.
Yeah.
It's like a paintball match. When you're faced with adversity, what do? You don't back down. The team's beating you. You don't just let them keep beating you, and you're not angry that they're beating you. What do? You laugh in the face of adversity. You pick yourself up. You recapitulate the needs. You amp up your brothers and sisters, and you go back into the arena and you fight. And it's not over till the match is over, right? Like Rusty used to say, be brand new, be brand new, be brand new, be brand new. And if you can be brand new in every moment, well, why not be happy every moment? Why not be, if you're down 5 points, and you're angry and you're upset and you're miserable, you're probably going to lose. But if you just say, okay, let's go back and let's be brand new. Let's this is a brand new moment. Let's be happy and let's move into this. Bam, you win another point. You win another point. You win another point. Next thing you know, the match is tied.
Yeah.
And maybe you go into the next point and you win the match. And it's not over till the match is over.
Yeah.
And this is life.
Right.
This is a long life. We have a lot of time here, believe it or not. You have a lot of time to face adversity. There's in front of every house here in Bali, in every temple, there's a Ganesha statue. And a Ganesha is, do I have a Ganesh somewhere?
I know you do. I know you do.
I have a Ganesh outside, but anyway, he's the placer of obstacles, and he's also the remover of obstacles. And when you have an obstacle and you have an optimistic attitude, like you're saying, Marcelo, it's not necessarily about being happy, but you can be happy at every moment. But having that optimistic attitude makes you realize that, okay, this is something I've got to fight through, and I've got to get through, like you said. And once you do that, even if you don't get through and it hurts and it's a trial, you can still learn from it. Like it's the same thing. You lose a match in the prelims, it sucks, but then you learn, you see what you did wrong, and you go into the next round, and then you triumph, or maybe in the finals and you triumph. Well, so that's why it's always good to make these mistakes and to have errors and to have the learning curve be really steep in the first couple of rounds. Then you're super ace when you come into the finals. Let's talk about life is like that too. Life's always going to hand you adversity. It's always going to hand you trials, and you've got to overcome them. But the joy is in overcoming them, right?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
You have a good match and you're playing Impact, and they're beating you 5 points, and then you come back and you beat them by 5 points. This is a great match,
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe even if it's just 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, it's a great match, And you want those great matches. When you play these chump teams that no one even knows who they are, it's not a good match. You're like, this is
the gummy bear havocs that we were talking about.
I didn't even know what I was doing. I was unconscious, and my skill was just prevailing. I didn't even have to use any mindset. I didn't have to think. I didn't even have to use my body. I barely even had to dive or crawl or anything. We just shot these people like they were like 5-year-olds. Yeah. And it's like, you want the good match. You want the adversity. Think about everything that you've ever done in your life that has made you who you are today. Tyler, you're a father, right? How hard is it to be a father? This is a great trial of adversity.
Dude, is it ever? it's
having a wife, having a business. These are all things that, sure, they can be fruitful, but they're also going to be very difficult. You need to baby them, and you need to take care of them, nourish them, and sustain them. But this is part of it. This is the fun part of it, actually.
It's the most fun.
It's like shaving the blade of a sword. It's like you've got to work for that sharpness.
Totally.
If someone just gives you something, it's not real.
Yeah. You're so right, man. And it's a constant sharpening of the sword, and you really realize it when, like you said, when you're in the struggle, when you're in the grit, when you're in the grind, that's where the magic happens, and that's where you really test yourself. And that's how, we could go on for an hour about all the grit and grind that you've done on the field, and how you've manifested those moments that we have so many videos of. And it's because your self-talk was on point. The way that you broke down situations and your awareness was supreme. And it's because you took the time to listen to yourself. You took the time to hone in and pick up kernels of knowledge like we're giving out here to our listeners, and take that time to be the best possible version of yourself. And it takes effort, and it's sharpening. It's constant sharpening. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not even difficult. You can do it. Anybody can do it, right? You guys all did it. You were little kids that probably didn't think you were ever going to do it, and then you did it, right? So where was the magic in that? It was the showing up every weekend. It wasn't even work. You didn't even think. Like I get a little bit triggered when everybody says, you go to hard work. It's all about hard work. You watch these Nike shows, and they're like, it's hard work. And I'm like, no, it's not hard work actually at all. It's super easy, and it was really enjoyable. It was really a lot of fun. Sure, I had to wake up early. Sure, I had to travel. Sure, I had busted elbows and knees and welts and heartbreaks and whatnot. But like, that was all kind of amazing, actually. It was all kind of really part of the whole process. and I loved it, and it actually went by so quick that I wish I could do it again.
You miss it.
Yeah.
You can do it again, dude. We're like Tyler and I, we said we're ready. So he is.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
I
like
think
in that, it's like in that confusion that you said in the grit. It's that quote that Marcelo said about Albert Einstein. You know, you're not even thinking. You're in pure primal instinct, and you're in a state of harmony with your body that is trained, you know, and your mind that's trained from all the weekends of practice. So when you're in that moment of chaos, it's calm, actually, you know, right? You know.
Yeah, you're so right, Ollie. And they are lying to you guys. It isn't hard work. It's easy if you just have fun, you know? Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's very physically exerting. Obviously, you got to wake up early. It's perspective, right? You look at like, okay, what is hard? What is hard work? I still like to call it hard work, but I get what you're saying.
You like it because it's part of the ego. It's the part of the ego to think, oh, I've worked so hard. I've come so hard. I've done so much. I'm so fucking good. I'm so good. I'm so fucking good. So I've worked so hard. That's why people say it, but that's not the truth. Truth is you just do it. You've never think about your life. You've glided through life. You've never really had a real job, Marcelo. You've never had a real job. You've enjoyed your life. It's been effortless. You drive really nice cars. You wake up 2 times on the weekend to play paintball. Maybe you show up to a tournament 4 days beforehand, and you fly first class to a flight in France. And then you win, you eat some delicious food, and you come home. Your life is a
dude, you're missing out the most important part, man. Half the time I'm with Ryan.
Yeah.
You know how fucking hard that is? No, we love Ryan. Dude, I get it.
Ryan's a great teacher.
He really is. He's I mean, I don't think you've been watching anything, but he's honestly playing the best that he's ever played. He truly is. Like as he's getting older, since he's still in shape, I don't really know how, because he doesn't work out or anything, but he's playing really good ball. Some of the best he's ever played.
Because he's letting go of he's letting go of his mind, and his body is so intelligent now from doing this for 20 something years that he's in a pure state of flow. It's easy, you know. You guys will get there too if you want it, you know. You're probably there now also, you know.
Yeah, dude. That's beautiful. And you're right, Ollie, man, you're hitting on so many cylinders. The listeners are just getting downloaded on this one.
Yeah. I gotta say, because I'm always one to speak up, there is something about, and this is, I'm sure you're going to have a good answer, Oliver, but there's something when you're in the gym, and it is hard work when you're pushing your body to some sort of complete failure and everything inside of you is telling you to quit. You don't want to keep going. Everything kind of hurts. And that's, again, it's a perspective thing, because if you look at true hard work, it doesn't even compare. If you're talking about poverty and the way some people live, sure. But there is something for athletes that you push yourself to this point of exertion to where everything wants you to quit and you continue to go through it. And I think that is what people relate to hard work. And there is something to be said for that, in my opinion. It could be a perspective thing as well.
I've actually always wanted to ask you, Oliver, what is your percentage on like athleticism to mindset or mentality for paintball? Like, would you equate it to like 50-50? You need 50% athleticism, 80 or 50% mindset, or less? I mean, what do you give that?
Well, so that's a good question. But I'm going to answer Marcelo's really quickly, and then I'll come to that. It's like there's something in you, Marcelo, that thinks you need to do that. And that's something that you need to uncover. And that goes the same with everybody who feels in those needs that I need to hurt myself to the pain to get to that part, to get through it. This is a perspective totally, you know, and it has to do with your upbringing, how you were raised, how you were taught, who your coaches were, and who trained you to think like that. And in honesty, it's all something that's internally upon you. I know that Tyler isn't necessarily that way. Tyler's doing it from this space of love, and he just does it. And he's got an immense amount of energy that's there, that's overpowering. He doesn't even need to go to the gym, okay? He could show up to the paintball field and just be dynamite, just so dynamic and explosive. But we're all different. And so now to move into your question, Tyler,
Dude, if I don't go to the gym, I can't make it through a match.
Yeah, but
Every
that's also
point,
a big part of your mindset, you know?
Yeah.
That's a big
I
part of your
guess,
mindset.
man.
You've been doing
Yeah.
it for a long time a certain way. You've got a certain habit that you
Mhm.
feel that if you don't do this, then you're not worthy enough to receive these results that could be received.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's mindset. So now, Tyler, to answer your question,
Yeah.
if you've got a healthy physical body, usually you've got a pretty healthy mind to a certain degree. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the body reflects on physical illness. Yeah. And I'm not talking
Mhm.
about totally externally, but a lot of it's more internal.
Mhm.
And, you know, a lot of great players are going to be able to play into their old age because they've got the mindset. As long as they keep their body lubricated and geared, you can probably play for a really long time. Some of the best athletes in the world are in, like, look at a guy like Laird
Yeah.
Hamilton, you know,
Yeah.
like he's a machine. You know, he's like he's like 55, maybe 60, and he's a
Yeah.
machine, you know,
Yes.
but he's also got a super solid mindset, you know, and
Yeah.
he's got his parameters that he rolls in so that he can create and compete at the
Mhm.
levels he does and do the things
Yeah.
he does. So it's all perspective in terms of what you need to do. Is it
Yeah.
more mindset, more body? I don't know. You know, some
Yeah.
people have excellent body structures and are like such amazing athletes, but they don't have the mindset. And
Mhm.
you know,
Which
so you got
is
to figure it
which
out
is
what works for you.
huge. I mean, paintball mindset is huge, and you had probably the strongest of all time when it comes to that. I mean, you just look at some of these huddles that we've been a part of, and you know, it's just flowing out. It is just reverberating from the center of your core, and that's coming from your mindset. Your mindset is on fire. You're one of the most.
Coming from the heart.
Yeah,
It's
that's
coming
right.
from the heart. The heart's a big aspect of that too, you know. Like I
Yeah.
like to study Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's a fantastic figure to study, and he
Mhm.
trained really hard, like you're talking about, Marcelo. Training. But he was also very fluid, and
Mhm.
you know his whole
Mhm.
philosophy was like water. Yeah, be
That's
like
right.
water.
Mhm.
And if you look at water flows in the least resistance. You know, if you see water flowing from a mountain, it goes where it can go. It doesn't go into the difficult routes. And so you can learn a lot by that, and you've got to implement it into your life. And if you've been training one way, this is how I am with my spiritual practice, is if I train one way and I practice diligently in one way for so long and it becomes too habitual and I become too dependent on it, I crush it, I kill it, I throw it out the window, right?
Mhm.
And I transform it into something new and I go into a different spiritual practice. Yeah. So now
Yeah.
I'm gaining all these different aspects of my spiritual practice, physical practice, and I'm putting them all together. So if you're bound and thinking, oh, if I don't go to the gym, I can't make the finals, I'm not going to be able to make the finals. Well, honestly, I don't believe that. That's
Mm.
something that's in your mind. That's a mindset block that you have to overcome. And how can you overcome that? Is you have to challenge it and you have to throw away the old way of thinking. It's the same thing. It's like, well, I can only do this if I can only receive this if I do these steps.
Yeah.
Then you're bound to those steps for your whole entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
You
never
got
going to
it.
be able to get around it.
There's a balance there for sure. And I've always been one to where I switch up a lot of the routines that I do anyway, but there's some sort of process and I recreate the process all the time, but I know personally I need some sort of process. I have a goal, whatever that goal is, I create whatever process I want it to be to get to that goal and I follow those steps, and it doesn't always have to be the same. It could be different, it could be whatever it is, but it's something that I structure for myself. It's the way that my mind works in that sense. But absolutely, like, I think it's a poison if you feel that you have to do one certain thing in order, you know, or a certain course of actions in order to achieve what you want. There's many ways to achieve, you know, what you're talking about, to achieve what it is that you want. And you do have to be flexible. I think that's one of the biggest things. You have to be flexible in your thinking and in your abilities. So you 100% have to be. So like, if you
Mhm.
can't, you know, like right now, the gyms are closed. Guess what? We got to find other ways to make it work. You know, you can't just roll over and not be able to do stuff. So 100%. Yeah, totally. You definitely got to be flexible, keep it fluid. And I also have always been like, things have to change. I like having a regimented type training program, but at the same time, I get bored of stuff very easily. And I don't feel challenged. You know, I don't feel like I'm progressing. So I like to constantly kind of change what it is that I'm doing to prepare for events. And again, that's why I've implemented different things before tournaments, because you get bored if it's this kind of weird repetition that you think I have to do this. Otherwise I'm not going to achieve, what I achieved, because it kind of falls back into superstition too, a little bit. If you think like, I better wear these socks, otherwise I'm not going to win, it doesn't make sense. And it is the same, but.
Well, these are acts of faith, like going to the gym is an act of faith. Wearing a sock is an act of faith.
Yeah.
So that's the important essence of it. Like the Balinese doing their offerings actually doesn't even really do anything. It's an act of faith. Yeah. Totally. They're believing that it does something. So that's what the value of this is. So you're right. I could not go to the gym now and show up to play a tournament with you. And I wouldn't have the faith in myself to say, oh, well, you haven't been training. You're not as flexible. You're not as fast as you could be, So it's an act of faith. That's why the concept of practice is one of the most vital and essential aspects to all development. And whatever it is that you're doing, you have to practice. You have to sharpen that sword every day. Practice, 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 practice. But you don't look at it as a tedious and difficult task. You do it with joy and love. Ask Michael Jordan, hey, did you have a hard time practicing? He'd say, no, I just got up and played basketball every day because it was excellent.
100%. Yeah.
To the point where you got it tattooed on your body, Oliver, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love the process.
Practice is the most beautiful thing. I don't remember a tournament, but I remember looking at you guys all the time in practice. Those were the more fun moments of my life than any of other tournament wins, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like practice was always so much fun. I would love to practice. We could practice all day. There's a few of us that literally practice all day.
Yeah.
There's a few of us that want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget.
I never wanted to leave those.
To practice all day, we would have won every tournament, 5 tournaments in a row, just like Rusty called,
Yeah.
Because it's also not necessarily about the practice, but it's about the effort behind it. Now, when I see you're practicing, he's practicing, we all practice, we're all loving this. We all want to do this. We're all looking for the same goal. And then guess what? We all win,
That's right.
But you deflate me when you don't show up to practice. If we're in a team dynamic, just like in a relationship, you got a wife, you got a partnership, she's not doing her duties, you're not doing your duties, you're not showing up to the relationship. It drains her. She's got to now do more to create that equilibrium. But the truth is, if we're all doing what we need to do by ourselves, we're all bringing in our little piece to the puzzle, we all can form a great unit and we can all have a fantastic result. And this goes to this is universal, right? If we all just did our little part on earth, if we all just did what we're here to do, not trying to be somebody else, not trying to do what somebody else is doing exactly what we need to do, then we can show up for each other, and we can show up for a community, and we can show up for a whole nation and a whole country. It's simple, actually. The way you save the world is you save yourself. You do what you need to do to be who you are, so that you can not damper anybody else's time, and you can accentuate them in the process. This is a team dynamic that is very successful. When we played on the Ironman Marcelo, the reason we won those years is because everybody on that team showed up 110%. In fact, we used each other's fuel as for ourselves. So when I saw you doing what you were doing, you fueled me even more. And it was these positive algorithms, and we were just literally the most badass team you could you ever saw.
We were tight.
Everybody was on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Oliver, real quick, dude, because you know what? I just kind of want to regress a little bit and kind of get back into the story of your career, because those were super important years. One, you did so many legendary things, again, from your first time playing on Ironman, then coming back to Dynasty, all the success you guys had there, and then getting to go back to the Ironman and literally build a team. This is something Tyler and I were talking about, we want to talk to you about, because you were such a phenomenal leader. That's what you did. Every team you went to, you were a leader. So we want to uncover that. But first, I think to get back into the story of things, I think you were 17 years old when you first got picked up by the Ironman, right?
Yeah.
You go through, I think, I could be wrong on the events. I think there was a World Cup. You had this phenomenal move. You went down the snake, shot 7 dudes. You guys won the first year with him. Is that correct? Something like that?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but we also won. We also won before that too. We won the Mardi Gras, and we won something else. Yeah.
Okay,
We
so
won that year as the Ironman in whole, the series. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So 17 years old. You're the youngest kid at the time to turn pro, right?
Yeah.
Youngest person to do it. What was that like? What was it like? Finally, you know, because I kind of know what it was like. It's literally how I got picked up on the Ironman. You know, with all you guys, all the people that I looked up to. You have the people that you looked up to. You're on the team as the young guy. You end up being one of the, you know, all-stars. And then let's get into the story of how you went back to Dynasty, built that, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, cool. So that was 2000, and I had played with. We had won a World Cup before that as Out of Control, I think, and that was kind of like a full Iron Kids team. And then we went and I went to Ironman after that, and Dynasty was just starting to like kind of form. But this was 2000, and it was myself on Ironman, then everybody else kind of went on, played for other teams, and so that was the first year, 2000. It was my senior year of high school, 17, and you know, it was a beautiful experience. I didn't know what was happening. I was really in the flow of life, and I was really surrendered to that. And I had support from my mom in a sense, because, you know, people were like, "Hey, what college are you going to?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play paintball. And so
Yeah.
there's like the real world wasn't calling me, and it was now reflecting into where I am in life. I never got called by the real world. I've always lived in an alternative reality of way to make money and live. So the whole college thing didn't happen. I went to the Ironman, and I was actually in high school living with my mom when I was on the Ironman. And we had one event towards the end of the year, and it was in England, and I played with this Diablo Image team that Richmond Italia put together, and Lasoya was on the team, Todd Martinez was on the team, Rich Telford. It was a really fun team.
Oh yeah,
And
that sounds like a good one.
Yeah, we won this event, and I think I got like $600,
Yeah.
which is probably like 3 times as much as you make now when you win an event. But I got $600, and I just graduated high school. And like, I don't even know what was happening, but I guess Ryan and Yosh went to college. I didn't even know. And and Alex was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go down and live in San Diego with them." And I was like, "You are?" He's like, "Yeah, you should come." And I was like, "Okay, I have $600." So I like literally packed up my little high school room at my mom's house, like threw everything out, and I just packed up my car and we went to San Diego. We had no clue. I had no clue what I was doing in San Diego. I didn't know where I was going to live or anything. And they ended up having this little kind of like frat house on this road, like right near San Diego State. And I ended up living in a room with Marcus Nielsen. He had it for half the time. I had it for half the time. Sometimes I slept on the couch. Sometimes he slept on the couch.
Yeah.
And then, so now I was in San Diego, and the Ironman season was already over. And I had played 2 seasons with the Ironman. Now it's 2001. And Chuck Hench approached me and said, "Hey, we'd like you to come back to Dynasty." And he's like, "Well, I'll give you $500 a month." And I was like, "Wow, okay. Yeah, cool." Because I had felt like my job on the Ironman was done. We had won World Cup. I had experienced what I wanted to experience on that team. And that's really it. You know, it's you know, we'll get to that more, but you got to feel you got to start to feel what the next step is for yourself always in life, and whatever that may be, whether that's particular to career or to relationship or whatever it may be, moving countries, moving houses.
Yeah.
And so Chuck was like, "Yeah, I'll give you $500 a month. You come back to Dynasty." And I was like, "Well, yeah, it sounds pretty good because I'm almost out of money and I would like to play on Dynasty, and these are all my friends and I live down here."
Yeah.
So there it was, you know, and I went on to Dynasty. And that was when it really started. And we moved to another house, which was the real paintball house. And we all lived together. And that was like the big year. And then after that, I think we won like so many tournaments in a row. I can't even remember. But I remember like we had won every tournament in Europe for like a full year, and then round the year into the next year. which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that was when paintball was like making money. We'd make a lot of money when we'd win.
Yeah.
You know, I remember we'd have like, you know, a couple big splashes of cash into the hotel rooms, and
Yeah.
you know, get to swim in the victory money. And
Wow.
so that was a good year. That was, I think, 2002. And then we did that for a couple years, you know, and then there was all this tumultuousness with the leagues and who's the best, and we're NXL and we're that. It's just all this consistent drama. And, you know, we're still young kids and we're still just wanting to ride the wave. And all these adults are like, you know, trying to like conform us and trying to like tell us what we can't do and can't do. And I really loved Chuck Hench, because he was like, we're going to do whatever we want to do. You know, you can't control us and you can't own us. And I was like, fuck yeah, Chuck, you know, like, you're amazing. You know, everybody else was like, oh no, we got to do this because we've got sponsorship and this and that. And Chuck's like, what do you guys want to do? We're like, we want to just play every tournament. They're like, he's like, okay, let's play every tournament. It's like, great. So Chuck was super influential at that. And JT was really supportive. JT ended up actually giving me like a job, and I went down there and they paid me a salary, and I was really close to Don Widmer, and Don Widmer was like the guy who created the Dynasty logo and the jerseys and everything. He became a good friend of mine. So it was an amazing time, and we were young and we were really ripping and really winning. And, you know, we did that for like maybe 3 or 4 years, 5 years. I can't even remember. And we had moved out of the paintball house, and I had moved to PB, and I had bought like a little condo, which I couldn't afford. And then I had got like a message from Dave Youngblood, and he was like, hey, I'd like to meet with you in PB. And I was like, okay, well, we can meet at this place called the Cass Street Bar and Grill, and we can have some food. And we went and we talked, and, you know, I was young, and in my mind, I was thinking, you know, to me, success was making $100,000. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where that amount came from, but that was like the what I was manifesting in my reality without even knowing it. And he had messaged me, and so we had met, and he said, hey, you know, I'd like to offer you an opportunity to come back to the Ironman with a salary and work together and create products. And, you know, I love the Ironman, and I want to see the Ironman win. And, you know, you're a big part of the Ironman. And I was like, yeah, well, honestly, I'd like to make $100,000. He's like, yeah, that's what I was thinking, about $100,000. And I said, okay, great.
Per year for 5 years.
Yeah. And I said, okay, well, great. Let's do that. I'm going to tell the Dynasty guys. And, you know, we had talked briefly about this, and it just was feeling right. And I was like, you know what, if I am the best, and everybody's telling me that I'm the best at this time, this is like maybe 2005. Everybody's telling me I'm the best. And I'm like, well, okay, Oliver, if you're the best, you got to prove it. You got to prove it. You got to prove it to yourself, and then you got to prove it to everybody else. So how are you going to prove it? If you stay on Dynasty and you keep winning these tournaments, you know, sure, that could be cool, but you've kind of already done that. So you should go and play on the Ironman and rebuild the team and start fresh and prove to everybody that you are the best. If you can do that, then you can have that name. That's what I told myself, you know. And it worked out perfect. We had 1 year of kind of like a little bit of sloppy deconditioning of the Ironman scraps of what it was, and they hadn't won for a long time. But there were some great players on the team still, so it was kind of hard to navigate that because there were some big names. Mm-hmm. And then Dave bought us this little ranch, and you know, it was talk about practice. Practice was on, you know. It was it was actually the thing that made us great was that ranch, because it was pretty much like it was super clear who was going to be on the team and who wasn't, because the people who were practicing and who were showing up were going to make the spots, and the people who weren't were just not going to be on the team. Even if you were the biggest name ever and you played on, you know, Aftershock or whoever other big teams, you know, even pros who like, you know, Billy Wing and Eric Roberts, they had to like, whoa, am I going to make the team? You know, Billy Wing was definitely going to make the team, but Eric was kind of on the fringe, and that was like big, you know, because he was a core member of the team. So we were redefining the whole team and who was going to be on it. We're going to be the best guys, and the way we knew you were the best guys if you showed up and you played, and you played really well. Yeah. And that field allowed us to really like talk about grit and grind, like it really had the best players shine. You know, the best players were. It was so clear. It was like there wasn't even any doubt who was on the team and who wasn't on the team. You know, and so then we had a pretty good year. We won the LA event, and then we moved into, you know, finals pretty frequently. I think a couple second places, maybe third places, and then we won the World Cup, and I think that was like 2007 or something.
2007.
Yeah,
2006 was my first event with you guys in Chicago. Mouse and I came mid-season and we got second place. There were a lot of finals. Dude, I gotta tell this story really quick interjection, because I remember it to my core. And I was a kid, so I didn't have I don't know what to call it. I just wasn't as thoughtful, I guess, as I am now. But we were at the ranch, at the practice field, and do you remember a rat crawled out of the hole onto the field? A rat, and rats are pretty gross to me still to this day, but I'll never ever even think about doing this again. And I shot the rat, and you put your barrel up to my neck and shot me in the neck. Do you remember this?
I love that.
I swear, dude, to this day, you were like, don't you ever do that again to somebody. And I was just like perplexed. You know, my neck was dude.
Hey, it was immediate full circle. Immediate full circle.
It was, and it was a valuable lesson, because I never looked at a creature like that in that way until you made that. Someone that I look up to was so disappointed in my action. I was like, one, it hurt, and so I was pissed at first, but then I like had a lot of reflection, like, damn, maybe that wasn't cool to shoot that rat, you know, like that wasn't cool. But it's funny.
I think we should parallel into time, because I don't think I shot you in the neck, because I wouldn't act like that even then. But I remember what happened is you and Mouse were in a little bit of a tiff, because you guys were always in a power struggle, and I believe Mouse bunkered you really badly. And
this is a different time. When I punched him in the goggles, this is a different time, dude. And I got sat for a full match. This is a different time. This rat, not Mouse, a real rat, crawled out of dude, it's a story a kid will never forget. All right, I promise you. But it was a good thing for me. It really was. It literally, I was like, whoa. And I started again. I've told you, dude, you've had such an influence on my perspective on things. You really have. And those kind of things, I'll never forget it. It hurt really bad. I remember. But I also, you know, I was like, damn, you're right. It's not just a rat with the words, with the letters R-A-T, and what I believed a rat was. It was a conscious thing, you know. It had feelings, and I shot it with a paintball gun, you know. And so I did get it, you know. It took me some time to get it, but the thing with Mouse was totally different. He bunkered me, he cheated as usual, and then like he got in my face and I punched him in the goggles. We had this big thing, and then it wasn't even my fault. It was truly his fault. And then you guys sat me for a match. I was pissed.
You've been a bad boy, man. Bad boy.
The potency of that place, as you can see, there was life-changing situations occurring on a regular basis there. People were coming, getting laid open, never coming back ever again. You'd show up to try out, and you'd never see them ever again. And then like the people who were there were like the people who were there, you know, and it was full on. It was an amazing experience. I would love to have that again. That would be like that would be like the paintball. That's what needs to happen. Paintball. You need to have more things like that, you know?
Yeah, Ollie, can you hit on that for a second? Actually, what do you think about, like, I know for me growing up, Marcelo, yourself, Oliver, all of us, we were in this different time frame. It was way gnarlier. It was way more heavy duty than what we have today. What do you think has caused that? Why is there, I mean, it was just, there was more on the line. It was, you were really going to get hurt. Like it was a whole different energy that we had back then.
It's a good question. I mean, it has to do with the peers, you know, the peer groups, you know, like look at everybody who is in my peer group, you know, the Ironman deluge of the individuals that were there. And then all.
Well, Oliver's a little frozen here.
All right, give us a sec. Lang, I don't know if you could hear us. If you can, you froze on us for a sec. So
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
I was just saying that it's like, yeah, sorry. So I was just saying that it has to do with the peer groups and it's like the hard knocks in a sense, which is essential. You know, you need to have these people. Like I had kind of Brad kind of pick me up and take me, you know, like I told you, and you guys had each person do that for you. Like, who do you do that for now? You know, you guys are the next wave of this. And you've got to kind of sometimes step away from your identity as being a paintball legend and a paintball as a dynasty player and become more human and become more of a teacher and take a few people on. And honestly, if they can't cut it with the style that you can teach them, then you let them go and you have the next individual that can handle it. But it was gritty then, and I think that definitely helped shape me. And I think that's just the nature of some sports is every sport is gritty at some point and then it kind of starts to soften for some reason.
Yeah. It was definitely bloody knuckles, as you well know. That was the mantra, you know.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some of the best years. You know, I posted a video recently, like paintball at that time, especially like World Cup, dude, there were just so many people in the stands. It was packed. It was kind of the pinnacle of the sport of where it's been, you know what I mean?
Well, we were playing really hard games too, you know, and now there's all this like it's kind of really soft. I mean, I hate to say it, it's just really soft, you know, these race to certain points and save paint and you can't have enough pods. Like, I don't even know what you guys play now, like
10 balls a second.
The whole drama between is it 13 balls? Is it 12.53? Is it auto bounce? Is it semi? It's just like, again, it's all these freaking adults like trying to control this thing, and they just kind of keep blowing it. And it's like, let us just play and let us just have some, like, give us some small parameters, you know. Then it was more free, you know. It was like a lot of paintball. I think it was full auto, and
we played best of 3 matches in the finals.
Best of 3 matches. So
2
it was
halves.
intense.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And there was more paintball. You were playing in multiple different leagues. It was just like the year was way more dense than it is today.
Totally, yeah. And maybe it has something to do with the financial situations of the industry and the way paint, but I don't know, you know. To me it's more of like if we did it back then, why can't we do it now? I understand that there's inflation and salaries and such, but also it could just be that the rich people just want to stay richer. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
What would be your ideal format? Have you put much thought into that? Like what the ideal way to showcase and play paintball would be?
Well, I mean, it depends. Like there has to be a process. So I think, like that way that we were playing in 2007 was the system, was the format. You know, obviously it was proven. There was a lot of people in the stands, a lot of teams. But the case is different now, you know, it's much more watered down. There's less players, there's less individuals, there's less paint, there's less, for whatever reason, it's shrunk. I think this whole Brandon Shorts concept is the future, to be honest, but not a lot of people will agree with that because they've got too many ties onto the dramas of, but I like team sports. But in reality, they're really afraid to face themselves and show themselves how good they really are. I would love to watch every single one-on-one match and say, wow, oh my God, Tyler Harmon versus Marcelo right now. Like, I want to know who wins, you know? I want to know who's been working harder. I want to know who's been training. I want to know who's sharper, who's faster.
Hold on, working harder? I thought that wasn't a thing.
Well, working harder for yourself. You know, Tyler might never lift a weight.
I'm just kidding.
Tyler might never lift a weight. You could be at the gym 7 days, 8 days a week. Tyler could still be working harder, you know? But,
you just got to breathe in that light, baby. There's a lot of light out there. Just sip on it.
I agree with you, Oliver. The one-on-one thing is really cool. It is such a great spectacle to watch because it is just you versus another person in this game. And it's you can't rely or hide behind your teammates. It really is a pretty great way to.
It's too confronting to all these egoic players that hide behind their team name and who have a certain style of play that is good and that can win tournaments. And winning 5-man tournaments, X-ball tournaments is great. But, like, I want to know who the best is. I want to know who's playing to the best of their ability. And I'd like to watch a full weekend series of, like, oh man, wow, I really thought that kid was really good, but he took last place,
Yeah.
like I'd like to know, I'd like to see that development. I don't know if Brandon Short's format is the format, but I like where he's going with that.
We're getting
And,
close.
then it can grow. Then it can grow. Then it can go back into it can go to the next level of that, and then it can go back into the team. And ideally, you're playing in a Super Bowl or an NFL-sized stadium. You've got a massive, maybe it's 5-on-5 or whatever it is, and it's like football. Like I think there's a level of the sport that it could get there, but it's not now. Right? We got to figure out what's now, and work on that systematically until you can raise the level of the sport till it can get to those greater heights.
Have you seen the Go Sports Ultimate Shootout one-on-one thing they're doing?
No.
Have you seen anything on Instagram about that? It's kind of cool. They have like a buzzer system where there's 3 different buzzers across the 50. It's one-on-one, small field, kind of gimmicky, but I feel like it's exciting. I feel like Brandon Short's league, and I was talking to Brandon about it today. His league is for the paintball player. It truly is who's a better paintball player in the one-on-one format. Love it. It's clean. It's classy.
That's what I want to watch.
Yeah, totally. As a paintball player, that's what you want to watch. The Ultimate
I want
Shootout.
to see what the best is.
Yeah.
I want to bet on you. I want to bet on Tyler. I want to bet on the people who I think are good. In fact, I want to make so much money that I can be your owner and sponsor you and send you to these events.
Let's go, Oliver. Let's go.
And sit in your box and root you on, and eat Cracker Jacks with your family. Like, it's so boring. Like, I'm sorry, but it's so boring what you guys do now. It's like I can't even watch it. It pains me, like you play on this monstrosity of a field that has I don't know who creates it, some kindergartner with these giant bricks and blocks, and it's like seesaw and jigsaw puzzles and like different color. It's like I'm looking at like some ridiculous playground, and somehow you guys make a little bit of sense of it, but everybody who's watching is clueless. They have no clue what's going on. And Go Sports is doing a good job on doing a little bit more of like, the zip lines, and they've put more money into it. So God bless them for that. But at the same time, come on, like.
Yeah.
And you battle the same 5 teams. Like, I'm so tired of watching Heat, Impact, Dynasty. Maybe the Russians win. Oh, great. X Factor wins 1 in 5 years. Like, oh, fantastic. Like, save my life. Like, show me a little bit of excitement. And then you got all these hogwash teams that are like so incredibly painfully boring to watch and to know. And even if they do win, it's like, woohoo. They beat Dynasty 1 match out of 30, So you need to consolidate it. You need to refine it down to the best of the best and make it exciting again. And, you can still have 5-man drama all over the world, and people can still have NXL, but you still need to have something that's exciting, that's building players, and that's a feeder circuit that's feeding into the pros. If you had the Brandon Short thing and you had an amateur version of it and you watch them, they're winning, this kid's winning, and you go, man, that kid's good. Like, we should pick that kid up. Like, he's excellent, So now there's a system. Now there's no system. Look at your system. Look at what you had to do in your life as a pro paintball player to get to where you are today. You had to go to that field every weekend, and you had to beg teams to get onto them until you finally got onto it, and then you played on that team till the next team, and then you finally got to Dynasty. Like, most kids will never do the persistence of that. They'll never do, And now look at Dynasty. You have a super stacked, epic team, and there's no room for any kids. It's like, who's gonna you got to cut Ryan, you got to cut Alex, you got to cut Yosh, for some kid to move in. Blake's been on the team. Blake's a veteran now. You guys are veterans on the team. So where's the system? How do you get new players in? How do you feed new talent in? There's all these kids that leave the sport because they don't know how to ever get to Dynasty. There's no system.
So what does Dynasty need to do to win, in your opinion?
I think you need to get really real with each other, Like, sure, you can have nice guys on the team and you can have sweethearts, but like, are you actually here to win? Because at the end of the day, you're a business. You're trying to create a victory. You're trying to create an end result, And so you got to ask yourself, Tyler and Marcelo, how much am I putting in onto this? Am I to digress to what I was saying before? Am I doing all I can do and more, and accentuating everybody around me to win?
Yeah.
This is the team mentality you need to have on Dynasty to win.
Yeah.
And if it might take a little bit of time to get real, but unfortunately you got to get real with each other. So who's the dead weight? Who's not showing up? Is there somebody else that you can get that will show up? I don't know, but you guys haven't won for a couple of years now, and it's like you need to. So what do you got to do? You got to make some drastic changes in order for something to occur. Otherwise, you're going to still be meandering in this zone that you guys have been in with a potentiality of winning. But Dynasty forever showed up with that success mindset that said, hey, we're going to win this tournament. I don't know how you guys show up now. I'm not there, but that's how we always showed up. Was we didn't show up like one of these Oregon, what are the teams named? Like the Seattle Thunders or something, where they show up and they know they're not going to win. They're like, there's no chance we're going to win. We're just showing up. We show up, Dynasty shows up and say, we're going to win this tournament. Like we step onto the field to walk the fields, and like, this is the field that we're going to win the tournament on. And everybody feels that, and that's the success mentality that you need to bestow onto the team again. And you guys got to do whatever you got to do to get that success mentality ignited again. And that's why Dynasty always does really well in the beginning of the year, usually, because you have this massive break and everybody's motivated. Yeah. Then you show up, practice, everybody's so stoked to see each other, and then you usually do great in the first event, or close to a close first or second or third or whatever it is. Yeah. You need to have that mentality throughout the whole year, which is super hard to do, especially with people who have been doing this for a really long time. I noticed, and that's one of the reasons I had to leave, was because I'm just honest. I can't put in the energy that I used to put into when I was for the last 10 years, Yeah. And I don't want to take away from you, because you deserve a victory, because you're putting in this energy and you're at this age. And when I was at your age, I did the same thing. But when I got to a certain age, I didn't want to do that anymore. I had different priorities and prerogatives. So you gotta just look each other in the face, look each other in the face and say, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing here? Are we just having a good time? Because if we're having a good time and we all agree with having a good time, then let's just have a good time, and who cares about winning? But are we here to win? Are we here to uphold this team name Dynasty and really live that name out? Or are we going to let this motherfucker crash and burn and, never what it used to be? And to be honest, you guys are in the hardest position ever right now, because you are taking a team that had so much success that honestly, to do that again would be very difficult. Now, can you? I think you can. But you got to work extremely hard for it. And you got to have the right people on the team who are prepared to designate that time to do it. So you're actually living in a shadow, which is really difficult. And if you want to sail this ship into the next chapter of success, you're going to really have to light the tires, light the fire, kick the tires, because you're living in a difficult space. You've just inherited a team that has this. It's not. And it could be part of your dharma and karma and testament to see how good you are. And it's kind of like what I did with the Ironman. Yeah, like I inherited a team that didn't have success for a long time. And it was up to me to rebuild it. And guess what I had to do? I had to cut a lot of people that didn't like me, because I cut them because they wanted to be on the team. And I had to formulate team, and I had to get funding, and I had to ask Dave can we get him? And can I, I'll give a little bit of my money up if I can have him, And you have to make sacrifices. And that's where you're at now. If you guys really want to test yourselves to be as great as you are, which I think you do, because you're fucking fantastic individuals and magnificent players, you got to really make that change. And you got to figure out what that means. And you got to be real with it. And sometimes it's going to make people's feelings hurt. But at the end of the day, what are you here to do? You're here to succeed. You're here to make Dynasty a name brand team again. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Wow, that was super heavy, and you're right, Oliver. It's no bullshit. It's let's get the job done. What do we got to do? Let's get the job done. That's point blank.
What are we here to do? That's it. It's that simple. We're here to play weekend big games at SC Village and have nice jerseys and flashy guns. That's what we're doing. But if we're actually here to win, let's win. Like I've just always been like that. I'm not going to waste my time on something I'm not going to put myself into. Like I haven't had girlfriends for a long time because I'm not prepared to give them what's prepared to be offered. I had to retire from paintball because I wasn't willing to give everything that I could give it anymore. For the sake of the goodness of all the other people on my team and for the sport, it's just it's brutal honesty within the self.
And Oliver, I have received a lot of questions from people online. I think there is still confusion as to why you left. And I do my best to convey what I knew about your process and your development as a human. But if you could shed any light and clarity on that decision, I think it would bring a lot of value to the listeners.
Well, I think that actually I should apologize. I don't even know exactly how it happened and what was happening. I don't even know if I even wrote an official goodbye letter, which I should do, and I apologize if I haven't done it. I think maybe I wrote it and I just never sent it. But also, the league is so lame, and they don't ever actually even if you retire tomorrow, they're not going to be like, Tyler Harmon, great player. Let's get a press release from him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, pros just slip to the wayside. All the greatest pros just slip to the wayside, and and that's an error within the sport that we're in. I think maybe paintball. What's the big paintball?
I can guarantee you will never slip to the wayside, buddy. You're eternal.
But I kind of did, and to be honest, I needed that, and that was part of the resignation, is to slip away from my life and my world, because and you'll have to do this at one point. I mean, if you choose to or not, but in order to understand anything that you've ever done, you need to be able to investigate it from an outside perspective. If you're too in it, then you don't really see it. It's just like, I remember, Marcel, you had a girlfriend and you were so involved with her, and you were blinded by it. And then you broke up with her, and then you were able to see it and understand it. And then you were able to develop it more. And then you were able to use the way that you acted with her in a progressive sense, so that you didn't do that with other girlfriends. Essentially, that's what we're doing here. We're creating these relations. We're understanding ourselves in these relations. If we have the mature mind to see it, then we can learn from it and benefit from it. And that's what all these relations are doing. Yeah. Me, you, everybody in paintball, boyfriend, girlfriend. So, but the truth is, when you're too involved in it, you don't see it. You don't understand it. It's only until it's over do you start to understand it. And for me to develop into who I am now, I needed to get away from who I was, or who I thought I was. Yeah. And everybody needs to do this. Mine's just in a very drastic situation, because I became something within a sport, and I had a name, and an identity and a personality, which is still me in a sense, but it's not me at all anymore, because I'm actually more of who I am now, simply because I was able to let go of who I was. Because if you hold on to who you are, well, to be honest, if you're just Tyler Harmon, the pro paintball player, I'm sorry, but that's sad. Because actually you're much more than that. You're greater than that. You're infinite, and you know that. Yeah. And you're the father, you're the brother, you're the husband, you're whatever it is that you put your mind to, you are, and you become greater. So me letting go of my paintball identity allowed me to actually move into my greatness. Yeah. And within these last couple of years, I was even able to examine who I was and what I'm actually really interested into, and what my motives really are, and why I've done these things, and what's brought me to where I am today. And it's all recapitulation on my life. And you need space again. You need that pause. You need that silence. You need that distance for it to really occur. Now, mine's dramatic, certainly, but I also did this. They didn't do this. It just was done to me. I just listened to the call, and I'm just in the flow of the great spirit, as cheesy, as mystical as that might sound. And I'm just listening to the call to come at any moment. I could leave this house and be gone into the next chapter of my life. And I'm really going for self-mastery. And that might mean something different to you than it does to me. But in order for me to achieve self-mastery, you've got to make great sacrifices. And one of my great sacrifices was sacrificing the sport of paintball, in which I love so much and so dearly and hold so close to me and am forever grateful for, with all the experiences and all the individuals that I've come across and all the wins that I've ever accumulated. But those actually don't mean anything, the wins, you know?
Yeah.
It's now being able to and sit back and observe it and look at it and move into this next phase of my life with open arms and open heart and being prepared for it. Instead of, unfortunately, like a guy like Lasoya, I watched him, you know, kind of piss his career away in a sense. And, you know, he was a great teacher for me on that aspect. You know, I watched him become this monster rock star player, and then slowly just trickle down to this worser team, hurting himself, injuring himself, playing for shit teams, not playing so good. And then all of a sudden he was just gone. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that for sure. You know, I'm going to do this in a graceful manner. But this was bigger than paintball. You know, paintball is like a small aspect of it. Like, I've evaporated my whole life. I evaporated my whole world. And that brought me great stability in understanding who I am. And so now I am where I am now, and I'm prepared to listen to the call for whatever that may be. And if that call is to return to paintball, I'll listen to it. If the call is to become, you know, a father, I'll listen to it. If the call is to become a writer, a poet, I don't know. I'll listen to it. So I'm not in control of this. I'm in the flow of reality, and I'm faced with destiny every day, and I'm okay with whatever it is that's occurring. But I know that I have a bigger purpose, in a sense, and I don't know what that is. It's unfolding, and I know that actually all my paintball brothers and sisters are part of it as it unfolds. You know, so it's actually selfish for me to go back to paintball just because I'm good at it and I like it, and I could maybe win a couple more tournaments. I don't need that in my life. It's not teaching me anything anymore. Now, I would do that for the sake of enjoyment, to see you guys and play alongside of you guys. In a sense, there would be a great satisfaction there. But in terms of like my own personal needs of discovery, it's not necessary. The job is done, you know? It's like when you break up with your girlfriend at 10 years, if you want to go back and make love to her, you know, it's like, you don't really need to. You could. It could be fun, but you don't need to, you know? There's another potential partner or mate or adventure that's out there that's lurking, that's prime for you to jump on it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm in a pause state, because the whole world's in a pause state. And it's unfolding and it's developing, and I'm trying to figure out how I can actually be more assertive with my message for future generations, whether that has to do with paintball or whether it has to do with life. And I'm trying to figure out how to bridge these two worlds. I'm not a child anymore. I'm 37 years old. I mean, I'm not even an adult by any means, but I don't flounder in these stages and these phases that I used to, and people can't handle that. You know, they don't understand where I am now. And that's okay, because you don't have to understand. The message is here. You're not going to understand what I'm saying all the time, but the message is there. It might take you 5 years, 10 years to digest it. But I want to impregnate you with these wisdoms and these gems. How can I do that? And I'm trying to figure out the platform that's effective to do that. Maybe it's coming back and starting my own one-on-one league. I don't know. I've proposed that to a few people. Nobody's bitten, and I'm a man of the Dow. And if it happens, it happens. The moment, like I keep saying, Alex, like, retire already, man. Retire. I'm ready for phase 2. I'm ready for phase 2. And he's just like, not retiring. I'm like, bro, in order for us to become great at paintball, I had to retire from my skateboard career. And I used to be a very
I heard about you. I heard about you on the skateboard.
You could ollie.
I wanted to be a pro skateboarder. And in order for me to turn pro, or for me to finish pursue my paintball career, I had to let go of skateboarding. And I never looked back. Skateboarding's there. It was part of my life, and I loved it, and I was good at it. But then I found paintball, and now I opened up all these magical doors, and, you know, it was a 20-year journey. So now I'm letting go of paintball. And I'm opening the new doors to this new magical journey, which I don't know what it is yet. And it's coming. It's unfolding. It's been 3 years, you know? So it's a healthy thing too, because a lot of people are holding on to these things, and you'll have to face it too. You're going to have to face the day that you walk away from the sport, and you're going to have to figure out how you want to do it. How can you do it in an elegant way where it's the best for you, your family, your team, and all your fans. It's not an easy decision to do, and you got to figure out how you want to do it. This was my way of doing it, and how I felt was the best way of doing it. Just like when I joined the Ironmen, you know, when people quit teams now, they text message you, oh, by the way, I'm leaving the team. And you're like, wow, okay, great.
Yeah.
I showed up to SC Village and I looked at all of the Dynasty guys in the face and I said, hey guys, sorry, I'm leaving. I'm going to go play for the Ironmen. And guess what? The Ironmen were practicing Dynasty that day.
Yeah.
So I not only quit the team, but I went and I practiced against those guys that day. Now, they thought I was a complete jackass, asshole that ruined their team and their life and their day. Because if I would have
Oh no.
He froze a little.
Oh, again, you froze again, dude. So you'll come back in, I'm sure, in a second here. Yeah, I mean, that was a crazy story in 2005.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get him back here.
He's coming
Langer.
from the future.
Stand by, my friends.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll give him 10 more seconds and see if we can get him on the gram.
Oh, he's disappeared from the.
Oh, okay. Let's see if he can get his way back in here. But man, Tyler, what an insane, what a guy.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this?
I mean, he's just the most special person, dude. It's insane. It's crazy.
He's reporting from the moon, so give it a second. He's gonna have to tie back in here. These are some of the greatest stories ever told, and we appreciate you guys sticking with us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Marcelo. Obviously, this dude has checked everything off of the list on paintball accomplishments, and the life that he's living now is truly something out of like a dream. You know, he's moved to the other side of the world from living in San Diego, and is living the life of his dreams, which I'm sure all of us, you know, whether you understand it or agree with it or not, the man is doing exactly what he wants to do.
100%, dude. And he always has. He's always carved his own path, done exactly what he wants, and done it as best as he could. And it's always kind of put him on top of whatever he's doing, which is crazy. You know, that's such a unique lifestyle to live. He truly, you know, a lot of people you can mock and say that, you know, that's not reality and whatever you want to say about it, but he has made it his reality, and clearly he's accomplished so much, both, you know, personal accolades, team accolades, and then internal belief in himself and happiness with himself, which is it's a hard thing to accomplish, to understand, to get to. So,
and not only that, but on the business aspect as well. On the business side of things, he is one of the most successful paintball business players that has ever done it. From taking his investments and what he made from the Ironman and incorporating it into the Rubicon Deli, into businesses in that aspect.
Yeah, what's funny is like I kept wanting to get back on track and kind of go through his paintball career, and every single thing went off on a tangent, which is great, you know. And I'm not going to interrupt that because it was just amazing. But yeah, dude, you know, he did so much in the business space as well, from his deal on the Ironman, and I mean, opening his own deli. It's so funny. I remember we used to always go to this deli after, you know, he was talking about the ranch. We used to have a ranch, which was the place we would go practice. And afterwards, on our way home, there was this little deli that we'd always eat at that was really good. And I remember him talking about the different pasta salads and the sandwiches. And he was like, dude, I think I want to open a deli. And sure enough, he opens a deli, and it became one of the most popular delis in San Diego. They franchised.
Yeah, so good.
You know,
oh my God.
He's no longer part of it, but they've expanded and blown up so much. Like, he had so much success there too. It's just crazy how much success he had in everything that he put his mind to. And that's why, you know, he says, like, and it's super powerful. You know, when he was done with paintball, he couldn't give everything he had anymore. He was ready to be done with it and move on. And he did, because if he wanted to do something, he was going to put all of his energy into it. And that, I mean, that's the way I've lived my life as well. Like, if you're going to do something, you need to do everything you can to be good at it. Otherwise, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time with it?
Why are you? Yeah.
Just choose not to do it. You know what I mean? Choose not to do it if you can't give your all. It doesn't make sense. You know, why let yourself get outworked or outplayed or whatever it is? Just don't do it. Do something else. Do something that you want to pursue to the fullest.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You got to be on board 1,000,000%. Otherwise, just, you know, like you said, pursue another avenue where you will apply yourself 1,000,000% and be on board. And, you know, it's a hard thing it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the real life decisions you got to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, should we leave them just wanting more? I mean,
yeah, maybe I sent him a message, and I also resent. Oh, I think he's coming back in. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
There he is. Oh man. I
Get
think we
him
got
in
him back
here.
in. That's good. I love it. It means he's trying to get back in. So we'll
Hang with us. I know we're on the edge of our seats as well.
Oh, there's the Mac. We see him. Mac is connecting. Mac is connected to audio. Oh,
Hello.
Yep.
He's back.
Hello.
You did it. Perseverance to the fullest.
Yeah, baby.
Sorry, the way that it works here in Indonesia, it's actually like kind of a great system, also kind of a bad system. But like, you just go to the local Indomart. It's like a 7-Eleven, and you buy your electricity and you buy your cell phone data. So like, it cost me only $7 to use my phone. It cost me only $7 a month to like light my house. So that's $14 a month. And but the problem is if it runs out, it runs out in the middle of it. Then it's done. So now like my phone data just died, so I got to go buy some. But when you're in a 2-hour-long call,
sorry, dude. We just gotta say, man, we're so thankful. That time gave Tyler and I a little bit of time to just talk about how amazing this conversation has been, and we did get into.
I'll pick it up where I left off.
Yeah,
I think
please. Okay.
So I was saying about retirement and how difficult it is a thing, but I've investigated a lot about retirement. Actually, this is where your life begins, because everything you're doing in your life is so that you can figure out who you are and what you're doing here. So now you can think that, like my life, I was like, oh, okay, you've got to be the best paintball player in the world. That's why you came here. And I was like, whoa, this isn't actually why I came here, you know? Now, it was a part of it, and it gave me immense amount of tools and personal power and many of these adverse difficulties to overcome. Now, that's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to all of you. It's going to happen to everybody listening to this to a certain time. The only way you can ever grow is if you let go of the old. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's a part of life, and it's ugly and it hurts sometimes, but it's so relevant and necessary to do. Now, for me, it just happened to be at that time. And I feel like I'm going to live for a very long time. But in order for me to get to this next phase of my life, I've got to start preparing, because it took me about, it didn't take me that long to go pro, but it was a 20-year journey with this paintball thing. So what's my next 20-year journey? And what's that going to take? Where is it going to take me? And what's it going to be? And what am I going to do within that time? So I got to start preparing for it, so it's this next chapter of my life. And once the algorithms start to go again, and you're in the flow with the universe and you're in harmony and you're not fighting anything anymore, is when I think life really starts. And that's kind of where I am now. So I really feel like I'm in this great new phase of my life, and I've been incubating here, and I'm nourishing myself and healing myself and catching up with myself after 20 something years of running around the world playing paintball all the time. So my body needed it, my mind needed it, my soul needed it, and now I'm preparing for the next phase.
You're like in the cocoon, morphing into the beautiful butterfly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's a hard process, and that's kind of what's going on in the world right now. There's a lot of difficulty and sickness, and but we're in a tumultuous phase as a human species, and how are we going to handle it? So
Yeah.
if you get anything from this, you guys who are interviewing me, how are you going to phase into your next chapter of your life? And you're going to come into that within the next couple of years, or maybe
Yeah.
not. I don't know. It could be the next 10 years. I don't know. But you have to decide how you're going to do it and how you want to do it, and what is best for you. So this is the route that I had to choose that was best for me. And to be honest, no one's going to understand that, because you're not me. You don't know me. I don't even know who I am fully, So for you to think you know me is a joke.
Yeah.
And to understand me, I don't want you to understand me. I'm an enigma. I'm a riddle. I'm elusive. I'm erratic.
Yeah.
Like my life is the way that I play paintball, and
Yeah.
that's a conscious choice.
Mhm.
I think there's a saying, it's how you do anything is how you do everything. So
Yeah.
look at that. How do you play paintball? This is how you're going to navigate through life.
Yeah.
Are you more cautious? Are you more aware? Are you more assertive? Are you more patient? And there's many facets to it, but life is a game. Yeah, right. Play the game. Wake up to the game. Play the game. Figure out how to play it. Figure out how to win. Figure out, really figure out who your true nemesis is. Your true nemesis isn't the Russian guys. I thought the Russians were my arch enemies my whole life, and I realized, these guys are actually just nice guys, and they're kind of needed. I really needed them because I had to work harder because they worked really hard, and they were really good, and they were really flashy, and they made a lot of money, so I needed to make a lot of money. So actually, my enemy was my greatest adversary. My one of my greatest teachers and helpers on my path. It's the same thing as Ryan. Ryan's a pain in the butt sometimes, but he's a great teacher in many ways, and he can consistently challenge me and throw a wrench into my gear. But it's up to me to figure out how I can navigate those realms and make a progressive and a positive outcome from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's never ending. You're always trying to crack the riddle. You're always playing the game. We're always trying to be in the moment and transcend and be the most powerful versions of ourselves in every moment. And that's the beauty of it. People are trying to escape it, but you got to embrace it. Embrace
it.
Yeah.
It's like they say, slay the dragon. It's more like ride the dragon.
Ride that baby.
Ride the dragon, man.
Yeah.
And then you realize actually there's nobody opposing you in life whatsoever at all. It's all you. It's all internal you. It's that little voice in you telling you that you're not good enough, that you're not. We blame it on people. We blame it on the government. We blame it on the of different genders and different races. But the truth is, you've got the power to change everything and create the reality that you want to create. I don't know how you got to do it. You got to do it. I'm figuring it out. I'm doing the best I can do. Again, I'm playing the game,
Yeah.
I'm not letting the game play me. I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm running through the center, and I'm bunkering as many people as I want.
One of the best to ever do it, man.
And now I don't got Ryan in the background telling me that I shouldn't have done that. It's like I can play it how I want to play it. I'm my own coach. I'm my own pit crew. I'm my own teammate. I'm my own everything. But also because I know how to do that so well, I can do that so well for others. You understand? That's what makes a good teammate and a good. If you know how to take care of yourself, like I remember Tyler, when you first got on the team, you were kind of a handful, and nobody knew how to take care of you, and but that also makes us like, well, how stable is he on the team? Like, can we trust him? They're all micro gestures that you bring in when you do that. And now you remedied that. Marcelo was telling me that you show up, that you're really on point, that you're really inspiring him, and that you've got a totally different approach, and that's exactly the purpose of this. So now you bring such a new credible element to the relationship. Now Marcelo can count on you as a podcast host, that you're going to show up on time, and he can start a business with you, and all your fans and people who are watching can trust you. If you're unstable and you can't show up to yourself, then you probably can't show up to these types of things, and people can't count on you, and you debilitate the team. So when you show up as an excellent teammate, the team counts on you, and then everybody feels good about you, and then you can see, like, I've always known that I'm good. Like when I go into a tournament, I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to do anything. I do those things because I enjoy them, but it's not about, it's like I'm covered, I'm set, I'm fine. Like I'm going to play really good because I know that about myself. Now how can I make you more comfortable and help you play to your best of your ability? And that's what a real teammate should be doing, and a real best player of any degree, or even best father. Like
Yeah.
if you're a great father, you're going to show up and it's not about you. You know that you're the dad of the family, and you're going to rip it because you're the masculine male figure in the group. And you're saying, well, how can I make my kids have the greatest day ever today, and my wife, and how can I accentuate their life and bring peace, joy, and harmony and goodwill to all of them?
Yeah. And
That's a real team.
that is the driving force right there. And Oliver, you did that better than anybody. And we are both so blessed and fortunate to have been able to apprentice under you and learn those tactics, because I know that I use them with my children who are in the other room with mom. She's the greatest. Sarah, I know you listen to the show. I love you, honey. And I couldn't do it without you. And it's full circle, it's really grassroots. And we're all so blessed to have had you, Oliver, as a spiritual inspiration for paintball players around the world, and as just a genuine friend of the planet. You are a true friend of the planet. And I know I speak on behalf of all paintball when we say we love you with all of our heart. So what kind of kernels of knowledge can you give to like people who want to play paintball at the highest level and follow in our footsteps?
Well, I think that there's like a misrepresentation there, and that follow in the footsteps. It's like, you be you, like Tyler, you're you. You might have seen me doing me, but you created the version of you, and you might have gotten a few little things that I did, but at the end of the day, you sculpted a personality, your character. You transformed from like a sprout child to like a giant human in like a year or two. I don't even know what happened. So there was some sort of internal block that you released, and then you grew into who you are. Same thing with Marcelo, even Mouse. I remember the same thing with Mouse. So anybody who wants to do this, you got to really look at yourself, and you got to ask yourself again, honestly, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Because if you're doing this to just be better than Marcelo, or you're doing this to be better than Oliver Lang, or to be like me, or to be like you, Tyler, then you're not doing it for a pure reason.
Amen.
Let's get to the purity of the reason why you want to do it, And that's interpersonal. That's something you have to ask yourself. But like, one of the main things that I built this little online practice course, and one of the first things I do is I ask you all this intake, like, why do you do this? Who do you like? Why do you like them? What is the purpose of it? And once you can get really clear to all these things, you can get to the nitty gritty of it, and then you can know where to start. But a lot of people live in fantasy of just wanting to be something for the ego, and I want to win because I want to just win and make myself feel good. But winning feels good, but it's not the whole deal, right? It's like the orgasm at the end of having sex. It's not the big deal. It's all the deal in between. It's all the love making. It's all the touching. It's all the tenderness. It's all the kissing. It's all the eye contact. It's all the sensuality that actually makes the love making, right? It's not the end result. That's just that's like the cherry on top. But so it's the same thing when you're gonna take on anything. You want to be a great paintball player. You want to be a great artist. You want to be a great musician. You want to be a great architect, great father, whatever it is. Ask yourself why. And it's you keep going deeper. Why? Because there's surface layer whys, and then there's truth whys, and you got to get to that nitty gritty and the crux of it. And then from there, where you can, what the intention is and why. And sometimes you throw it out, like there's things that I wanted to do and I didn't know why I wanted to do them. And I started to do them. And then I was like, this isn't what I want to do, So anyways, it's all
that's just as valuable too. Like knowing what you don't want to do, testing the waters.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Like Bali gives me this abundance of possibilities here. So I've I've made clothes, I've made jewelry, I've made paintings, I've made this, I've made that. And I go, this is not what I want to do, So just doing it. And now I'm at the point where I can just shoot from the hip and make things happen, and that's a level you want to get to. You want to get to being able just to create things, even if they fail. Like Now with my business partner and we say, okay, let's do this. And I say, I'm prepared to fail. He's like, yeah, I'm prepared to fail too. And you're like, okay, great. Well, then there's nothing to lose. We're just doing it for the pure sake of education, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you got to do in the game of life and the game of paintball also. It's like, right? You're going to try a move. If it fails, it fails, you know? Whatever.
That's it.
Then you go back to the drawing board, you do it one more time, you know? And you look at all these guys who are all about money. See, the money thing is a tricky thing because a lot of people believe that money is like the holy grail and the money is the end all. And there's a lot of people who know how to make a lot of money and they figured it out. And there's a science to money. There's a science to figuring out how to make money.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, it's a trap because it ain't about the money, you know? And again, that goes back to the why, you know? Because if the why is I want to make a lot of money, well, then you can make a lot of money. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to develop and understand who you are and fall in love and enjoy the process. You know, you could be making a lot of money, doing a lot of harm to yourself and to other people and to the environment. A lot of people do that. You know, that's the modern day capitalistic world in a sense. Again, nothing wrong with capitalism.
Yeah. The majority, I would say. Yeah. I would say that, you know, you get all the money, but you don't necessarily get all of the happiness. There's a lot that comes with that bag.
Again, you got to keep digressing. Is it about happiness or what is it about? You know, like for me, I've just found it's about the peace. You know, the peace is the deal. You know, the peace is the solace. So how can I get peace in every situation? And that maybe I even lose. Maybe I even lose money. Maybe my business fails, but I have peace. You know, so I don't know. You got to keep investigating these things into yourself, and you're gonna you know, you're in a process. You're in a lifelong process. I heard a good quote the other day. It says, you've only got one chance and it lasts a lifetime. And so it's like, you're in a lifelong process and, you know, now you've got a little bit of legs to reflect on. You're different than when you were 20, you know, you're 30 now, you're different when you were 20. And the older you get, the more perspective you get, the more ability to look at, investigate. Oh, this is how I was when I was this age. And this is what I did when I was that. That's if you become aware. Now that's the big trick. Again, remembering and being aware of the game that you're playing.
Totally. And like you said, observing from the outside, being the watcher, watching yourself and seeing your tendencies. That's how you can develop and grow and hone yourself, is by stepping outside, you know, observing your thoughts and observing your actions. And that's going to condone to your development. And Oliver, you're no slouch when it comes to business. We were actually talking about, Marcel and I, when you were in the gulag and we lost you for a second. You started a very successful deli and were very successful in business outside of paintball. You were one of the, if not the only, one of the few people to do that type of thing, to make a career in paintball, take that investment, reinvest it into real business and be successful again. Can you shed some light on that and how that all transpired?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at where you guys are now. I don't know what you guys make and what you're getting paid and what the income is as a pro paintball player these days. But, you know, for a time there, it was not very much when I was playing. And at one time it was a lot. And so I realized that, I had an epiphany. I woke up one day and I said, well, wow, okay, so what happens if paintball disappears off the planet tomorrow? What do I do? So I might be the most versed expert paintball player, but if that's gone tomorrow, then I'm worthless. I don't even know. Like, I still feel, in a sense, there's a part of me that feels like not fully capable of doing. I don't know how to do certain things. I don't know how to touch type on computer. I don't know how to do these. I don't know different languages, right? So these are inadequacies that I need to fulfill to feel more confident about myself. Now, if paintball disappears tomorrow, what do I do? Well, okay, so I might be this great holy paintball player, but then tomorrow I don't have anything. I don't know how to do anything. I don't even know how to make money. So I had to start to figure out, well, how can I make money in other ways so that I don't have to rely on paintball? In fact, so that I can have some more fun into paintball. Because after the die deal, I transitioned back into Dynasty. Yeah. And it was much more fun, like we had more fun. It turned into a more.
Oh man, we were partying, baby. We were winning and having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So we had all the pieces of the puzzle a little bit. We didn't have so much cash, but that was okay. so yeah, I just kind of got wise and started to say, well, okay, how are we gonna get creative, and how are we gonna make some cash? And
Yeah.
so again, I just followed my heart in a sense, and my friend had an opportunity, and I proposed it to him, and then we had the Rubicon, and then when the Rubicon was ready to be sold, and I was in the next transitory phase, they said, hey, we want to sell, and see you later. And I said, great,
Yeah.
So it's about being able to end things cleanly and smoothly and
Mhm.
on good terms, and
Yeah.
and make room. That's another thing. Make room for the next thing that's coming,
Mhm.
So the Rubicon was a huge lesson for me. I learned a lot. I had a crash course in business within a small amount of time. And to be honest, I learned I don't like business. I don't really want to be a businessman. I don't want to, uh, it's just not my game, But
Yeah.
at the same time, I also realized that I need to make money.
Yeah.
And money's a big part of life, and money's money's what makes the world go round, and
Yeah.
money's very healthy, in fact, and money's very beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's
totally.
times where you have money, and there's times where you don't have money. But well, at least for me,
Yeah.
and I also like it when I don't have money, because then my back's up against the wall and I got to create something. And that's how I am when I play the game. That's how
Yeah.
I am with life. I procrastinate sometimes, which isn't very warrior like, but
Yeah.
I procrastinate sometimes, and I see what develops. And in that moment, I gotta play. I gotta make a
Yeah.
move.
Mhm.
And so making money is kind of fun, actually. You can figure out how to
Yeah.
make money in
Totally.
different ways. And I've never
Yeah.
worked a day in my life, like
That's right.
I've never really ever worked a day in my life, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
again, people say you got to work hard and make a ton of money. You got to figure out your means, and you got to figure out where to live in them. Like, I live in Bali, so it's a little bit cheaper. I built my house. I don't have rent. I
Yeah.
own a scooter. My gas costs $3 every time I fill up my tank on my scooter.
Wow.
And I don't make that much money currently, but I actually am a very rich man because I live underneath my means, So
Yeah.
I could be making $1 million, but it costs me $999,000 to live. So that doesn't
Yeah.
make me a rich man,
Yeah.
I think there's a beauty in figuring it out, and that's what you all are
Mhm.
doing, and that's what I'm doing. I'm figuring out how to live
Yeah.
um, beautifully, and in a sense of just beauty and elegance and simplicity. Like, you don't need too much, and I like money, but if
Yeah.
I don't have money, I'm okay also with it. So
Yeah. No, I'm with you
Man.
100%. It's an illusion, and it's an illusion that is run rampant for as long as anyone can remember, and before that even. And it takes shows like this and people like us to come on here and speak our truths, and that's really the beauty of it, Oliver, is simplicity. And I'm with you 1,000%. Like, business is just it's like almost scandalous. It's scandal and this, that, backstab here, around the corner there, and it's
well,
not natural.
that's the business that it's turned into. So business in a spiritual sense is very beautiful, very
Yeah.
nice. Like when you go to the paintball field and somebody wants to buy your paintball gun or your jersey, like, this is
Yeah.
commerce, this is business, and
Yeah.
there's an interaction and there's an exchange, and I've given you this and you give me that, and you're happy and I'm happy.
Yeah.
And in there we fuse this connection. But business has really gone pretty astray, like you said. But
Yeah.
also, having a child in a family is that's another part of it. I haven't chosen that path. So,
Mhm.
you got to figure out, and there's a lot of wealth in that, as being an adult male who
Yeah.
chooses that path to then feed and provide for his family and take care of his beloved. But I think
Yeah.
in that you can also, because your back's up against the wall, in a sense, you
That's right.
create, and a lot of great men have taken that path. And I think being married and having kids is another path of spiritual development without you even knowing.
Yeah.
And
It
maybe
is.
but a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know. And
Mhm.
if you go through that process and you are triumphant and you do it with joy, and you don't let it burn you out, and you don't beat your wife and beat your kids and are a horrible father,
Yeah.
you actually transcend into a really high plane of existence. And
Yeah.
you got to figure out what job it is that you want to take, and
Yeah.
how much you want to put into it. But I always say this is, like, whatever it is, do your damn best at, like,
Absolutely.
really do really well at it and become
Yeah.
indispensable.
Yeah.
That's always my thing. Like, you know, it's the same thing on the paintball team. People go, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get cut. Well, it's like, well, if you're at that point, you should just be cut anyways, because if you're amazing, there's no doubt that you're not going to be cut. It's the same thing when you work. If I'm an excellent work employee and I show up to work every day with a great attitude, on time, full of zeal and lust and for life, and I give you my best every day, as the boss, you're going to take notice in that. And you're going to say, wow, he's good. He's indispensable. I can't lose him, you know, so I got to give him more money. Oh, he wants to go on vacation to Bali for a month. Well, let him go, because well, he's a great employee. I need him. It's the same thing on the paintball team. But most people, you know, they just don't put in so much effort, and they don't really try, or don't really care. And so then they don't make much money, and their boss doesn't really care about them, and they're afraid of losing their job, and they're afraid of being cut off the paintball team, or they're afraid of losing their girlfriend. You know, like, come on, if you're going to be a lover, be the best lover you can be, you know, make your girlfriend or wife absolutely adore you to the utmost. And, you know, it's like she's never going to leave you. You know, if your wife leaves you, your girlfriend leaves you, it's because you haven't been good to her, you know? It's that simple. So be amazing at everything you do. It's that's the point of it. Or don't do it, you know, don't do it. Like, I'm not in a relationship with a female. I'm not doing it right now. You know, when I'm ready, I'll do it, and I'll do it really well. Yeah.
That's literally what Marcelo said when you were in the teleportation device that you transcended from. He was like, you know, same exact words. If you're going to do it 1,000,000%, or don't do it at all. And it's funny that you said that, because that's the truth, man. A lot of people come in with a bunch of expectations, or just thinking that things are going to go this way. You got to create it. You got to manifest it and make it yours, and do it with everything that you got, with all your heart and soul and your passion, and give it all to the game. That's where it's at.
And do it your way. And do it your way. Don't do it my way. Don't do it. Don't do it the way that anybody else ever did it. Do it your way, and do it better. Like Jesus says, you can do everything I've done and more. And you can take that however you want. And I'm not trying to recite Bible text or scripture, but to me that means
he's a pretty important dude. He was an important dude, I think.
Well, he's done a lot, and you can do that also, and you can do more, you know?
That's right.
So it's like, don't try to be Jesus, be you, and be beyond Jesus, you know?
Absolutely.
There's greatness beyond that.
Yeah. And he was the, you know, the light. Be bright, be light, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Be light, be lighthearted. Don't be so dense, you know, be transparent, be fluorescent, be big, be bold, be hot, be zesty. And when you live like that, you are going to create a lot of power in your life. It's going to transcend into your reality, and you're not even going to know what hit you, you know, when you start living with that full heart. That's where it's at.
Holy moly, guys. I love it. Yeah. You know, one of the beautiful things is you, for the most part, you have a choice in what you want to do too. And so that's a whole thing that, you know, we were talking about, like when you were in the transcending thing, Oliver, is you get to choose what you want to do. So if you're going to choose to do something, do it as best as you can, or don't choose to do it. Why, like, put yourself through this, you know, where you're not going to commit everything. You're not going to choose to be the greatest at it. Why be in this weird, whether it's a job, you know, that you don't like, that you dread going to, or a relationship that you're not happy with, you know, why you get to choose if you want to stay in some of these things. And of course, there's, you know, figure it out, man, you know, figure it out.
Sometimes you got to work a bad job so you can get enough money so you can leave it. You know, sometimes you gotta, it's like, again, it's the game, man. You're watching the game unfold. So sometimes you got to eat a little crow to figure it out, so that you can get out, you know, like, and if you're in tune with that, then it's actually very supportive. And that's what's been for me, like everything, my transition out of America into here has been super supportive. Like, it hasn't been difficult, and it's like, it's unfolding as it's occurring every day.
It's been so much fun to watch your journey, dude. Like, and I love the dancing. I just want to dance with you when you're dancing. I'm like, yeah, baby, let's go.
I got it. That's one of the questions we got from Pat Kraft. He wants to know where'd you learn how to dance? But we know the answer. It's just from the soul. But
that's soul dancing, baby.
It's from the soul.
Well, honestly, I've been doing a lot of dance because where I live is a very big dancing community, actually.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Dance is a very tribal thing. You know, you would light a fire and you would dance out the evil spirits, or you would dance in, and it's essentially an athletic gesture, you know. And it's if you dance for a long time, it's an excellent workout.
Oh yeah.
And you're getting everything going, and you're breathing, and you're dancing, plus you're in the music.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, it can be an existential experience. You know, a lot of people go into, if you look at all these old traditions, like the Sufis would spin and spin and spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. This is the way they danced, and then they would go lay on the earth, and then go to this into this like you know, kind of psychedelic realm, and you know, open up to the universe. And so that's what dance is. And I think it's important to dance. Come on, you know, we come out of the womb dancing, and then we got to figure out how to dance throughout life, you know. And that's if you can dance throughout life, whatever's happening is happening, you know. This is one of the things I teach in my course, is like the music's gonna play, even if it's bad music, you still got to dance, you know. Like let's just dance. Why not? You know, what else is there to do?
Dude, if everybody could just take that and run with that and dance a little more, I think we would have a much better planet right now.
Dude, I agree.
And actually, think about how many people don't dance. You know, think about how hard it is for a lot of people to dance. I know, Marcelo, you had to dance. I inspired you to do a dance, and it felt really good. Yeah, it felt really good, and it felt awkward, and it felt weird. You know, so those are the edges you need to push into your psyche about why is this weird, and why is this awkward, and why is this difficult. And this is not just for you. This is a lot of men and a lot of women. You know, we have to drink alcohol just to dance, just to loosen up, you know? And we have to go to big nightclubs to dance and listen to really sometimes terrible music, you know? Like, just put on some nice music and dance, and that's enough. You know, it's actually quite simple. Music's very freeing. It really helps you let go of the mind. A lot of modern day music I wouldn't recommend, to be honest, because they've got a lot of subliminal implants of words and beats and rhythm stuff. But like older music, you know, just put it on and dance to it. It's like it's very freeing, you know, and that's why music is such it touches you from a different dimension.
Oh, absolutely. What's your favorite music you like to get down to?
That's a good question. I actually have fallen into this medicine music genre because it's very healing. But I don't really dance to it. It's more of just like a feeling, and I can just meditate on it for hours. But you can look up medicine music on like SoundCloud, and there's just like so many amazing artists that, you know, have like 100 views. They're nobodies, you know, and they're just like these little troubadours of the time right now. But I like the funk, you know. I there's a part of me that grew up in the 70s, and I don't know, I must have been like a disco you know, cocaine disco party or something. It's like there's part of the funk that just wants me to get down, you know.
Yeah, baby. And dude, it's infectious, and please do not ever stop dancing. We need that dance in our lives. Everybody needs that dance. It is it's truly like inspiring. And you know, like I said, I think that if people would treat life more like a dance, so we would have a better outlook on things and just keep moving and boogieing. Boogie on down, baby.
I love it, dude. Oliver, you did kind of touch on your course, which is something super cool, Razor Sharp Edge. You want to talk to people about that? I think it's a really cool opportunity for people out there to, you know, pursue. So if you'd like to share anything about that.
Well, I built like pretty much I've spent like almost 10 years now cultivating practices from all over the world and understanding, you know, from different teachers, whether they be Buddhist or even some stuff came from paintball. And I just kind of bundled them together, and I made like a 2-month program that was, it's a personal development journey, and it's pretty intensive. And I did it, I launched it, and I had a pretty good collective, but I lost maybe about like, you know, 20 something people, like probably midway, a little bit less than midway through the process. So I had to kind of recalibrate, like do it a little bit differently, because I really want results. You know, that's what I'm really aiming for. I'm not trying to just sell you a product and you give me money and then don't do the product and use the product. I want to actually figure out how to like get this stuff across. So I've watered it down a few times, and I figured out a few different ways, because everybody's at different levels of their personal journey. And the Razor Sharp Edge is pretty intense. it's available. You can do it if you're going to do it, but the name is the razor sharp edge because it's a fine line and it's a hard one to walk, you know?
Yeah.
So you might fall off, but,
Yeah.
and again, that's part of the journey, is to fall off and to get back on. So now I've been doing these 21-day programs, and then I have the razor sharp edge, which is 2 months. And then I have another program, which is 3 months. And then I have another program that's 6 months. And I'm just kind of testing them, seeing how they're working, seeing what they're, you know, how people are liking to them. And, you know, everybody's, like I said, everybody's on different chapters of their personal journey. So I gotta make it assimilable and like be able to digest it, not too much, not overwhelm them. Because it's like now, like if you have a kid that just jumps on Dynasty and you start telling them all your Dynasty codes and all the theory and all these things, you know, you're gonna fry them.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give him, like, you got to tell him a few simple things, and then he can maybe understand that. And then you give him a little bit more and give him a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's the process of my teaching, development, which is something that's occurring also. Like I'm looking more into the space of being able to share knowledge and give knowledge for people. You know, that's definitely something I'm feeling is happening as I transition into an older version of myself.
And you've always been doing that, like all the way through, from when you were, whether you realized it or not, that's what you've been doing your whole life. And it, you know, it's only appropriate that continues because you're one of the best in the world to do that. And where can people find more information on the razor sharp edge?
I have a link on my Instagram, which is Oliver Whitepod. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can DM me and you know, we can work something out. And I was going to do another one starting on June 6th. It's going to start. It's a 21-day, and it's called The Gentle Warrior. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And The Gentle Warrior is a beautiful program. It's a little bit different than the razor sharp edge, but essentially it gives you a foundation of a spiritual practice. Yeah. Yeah. It gives you knowledge into what you have to do to take those necessary steps to be able to sit in that silence and know what to do with it. And then I evoke a lot of internal dialogue through a journal process and getting out some blocks, some things, some limiting beliefs, really starting to see this little culprit of the mind, this internal dialogue that you have that's really a pain in the ass, you know, a lot of people. And I've realized how resistance creeps in so hard on many levels, you know. Resistance is a thing. It's really real. It's
oh my
relevant.
God. Absolutely.
To me, you know? Yeah. So if you can start to get in touch with this truer self of you, this higher self that in the spiritual world they call it, this is the real you. Yeah. This is the one that wants what's the best for you, and that's always rooting you on and giving you the correct answers. But the lower self of you is loose and is crazy, and it doesn't know what it wants, and it's erratic, and it's all over the place, and that's the one that brings you down. And unfortunately, a lot of us live in our lower selves, and it's hard to get out of it, and it's hard to even have the tools to get out of it. So essentially this process is to get in touch with your higher self, and it's a 21-day process. You got to wake up at 5 a.m., cold showers, meditation, breathing practices, journal practices, and then be held with like an accountability partner.
Beautiful. I was actually just going to ask you how much the breathing plays into the practice, because I know you and I talk about breathing practices quite a bit. And even on Dynasty, we implemented a lot of breathing practices before we would play and just in our daily life. So I'm stoked to hear that you're teaching about that, because I personally don't think there's anything more important than the breath. It's how you raise your prana, your energy is all attached to your breath. And if you look back in history, all of the wisest people that walked the earth, they all knew that it was attached to the breath. So it's a beautiful thing that you're sharing that knowledge.
Yeah, and all athletes, you know, like all athletes have a sense of a pranic etheric field around them because they are good breathers without even knowing it. So as a good athlete, if like you could give me like a Steph Curry, or you could give me any of these guys who are really good, and I could make them better, you know? Because a lot of them aren't aware of themselves. I wasn't aware of myself when I played at the top level. I had an awareness, but I wasn't aware of myself. to get away from myself allowed me the ability and opportunity to see myself. So this is also the catch with the warrior, especially in this day and age, warrior or athlete, is your name becomes such a big thing, and your identity becomes such a big thing. It's hard to escape that. Yeah. And because you're so great, right? Like if you were Floyd Mayweather, nobody's doing anything but telling you you're great the whole time. You get away with, you can do anything. Yeah. But there's a lot of wealth in getting your ego broken down and understanding yourself. And that's the journey that I've been on, is shattering my ego in a sense, and rebuilding it in a healthy way to understand myself more and to become more aware of myself. And the breathing is a great factor that's involved in that. And it gives you an instant reflection of it. Contemplation is a big part of meditation. And a lot of us are contemplating all the time, but now if you know how to use contemplation, you can start to excavate into there. You don't even have to take psychedelics. You can do it like this. You can go really fast in your evolutionary process if you know the tools.
Absolutely, man. It's inspiring, dude, and I hope that you guys out there will truly take heed on this information. Look into the razor sharp edge and look into yourself, man. Look deep into remembering who you are. There's a lot going on with this human experience, and quite frankly, we've been lied to for a long time about who we are. So it's beautiful that we have, all of us out here shedding some light on the beauty of humanity and the capacity at which we can function.
Well, the thing is if you've been lied to for a long time, you can find truth, So, but it takes you a little bit of waking up to that to realize that you can start to understand what truth is. And that's the process of seeking and seeing and searching and moving who you truly are. But I think it's part of the program. I think we're supposed to be a little bit confused and lied to, and then we have to get to that point where we break through it. But if you don't break through it and you crystallize your ego in many ways, there's many ways to do that, then you never really can get to the nitty-gritty of who you are, unless you're tender and surrender to it, which is really hard for people to do. And that's why there's the midlife crisis is the program within the human construct. And maybe some people have gone through that are listening to this, and you don't even know why it happened to you, but it happened to you for a good reason, so that you could understand yourself more.
Absolutely, man. Now I could talk to you all day. Can we go for
100%?
We've been going for 3 hours. Can we get another 3 in here? Man, let's just never let this stop, please. Oh man. I mean, it's profound what paintball can do, right, Oliver? It's been a spiritual journey, it's been a physical journey, a mental journey, and to be sitting here talking with you about all this is really surreal for me, growing up a kid in Modesto. And actually, I don't even know if you remember this, but I played you when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and you let me beat you in a one-on-one, I'm pretty sure, out on the hyperball field. I'm not sure if he let me beat me. I might have snuck one in on him, but that changed my life. And now to be able to sit here and talk with you and come full circle, and to have been able to play on Dynasty with you is just like, it's insane. I can't believe it.
So now you're this, and Marcelo, you guys are this for the next generations, It's like the impact you make on people is really the deal, And it's subtle. It's stuff like that. It's that little stuff that make all the big differences, I had those moments. When I was your age, and they're huge.
They are, man.
Life-changing. They're long-lasting. They are life-changing. They instill some sort of confidence or something you could look to from a young age that changed a little part of your direction, and it really does make a big difference in the long run. 100%.
What would you call that?
A moment, a powerful moment, and what you do at that moment is what it becomes. But, it really is like, I look back on so many different moments when I was growing up that pointed me in a certain direction. So it was guiding in a way, whether you chose which way it guided you or not, it was guiding.
Mm-hmm.
What would you call it?
I think that's appropriate. It's a moment, and but I think these moments happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's again, are you tuned into the moments? Yeah. Some of them are bigger than others and they're more, drastic.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you shouldn't get to the drastic moments. You should they should all be so subtle that you're picking them up the whole time. But sometimes they're big, sometimes you got to shoot the rat to have that experience. But
Yeah.
but before that, you don't need to get to that extreme,
Totally.
and that's a part of the process too. Especially now that you've done it a few times, you can pick those moments up at every moment.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
probably been 100 moments within this conversation.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Like last weekend, I went out to Wild West Paintball here in Arizona, and I'm the only pro out there. It's a bunch of D4, D5 players, and I don't have Dynasty, obviously. It's just me, and I'm on the team that's not as good as the other team, and I'm on the Dorito side. This kid bunkers me, and I'm like, good dude, just rips me. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, wow, he got me. But to him, that's that moment. You know what I mean?
That's a moment.
That moment.
Yeah.
And I'll probably see him in 10 years. You know what I mean? And off of that moment, and it's crazy how things work like that. And it's this subtlety, the subtle, slippery slopes that are everywhere that are just transcending into the ultimate realities that move people and shake people to be who they're going to be. And it's these little moments, man. It's amazing.
Totally. Beautiful.
It's funny, Ty, you mentioned a one-on-one that you had with Oliver. When I was like 12 years old at Velocity, there was Oliver, you probably remember Isaac Barrow, one of the old Ironman players. But we played a one-on-one, and I got a shot in on him too. And I'll just never forget, like that was that gave me confidence to play one-on-ones and to be in those situations for so long. I'm 12 years old and I'm playing a pro Ironman player, and to, whether I was lucky or he let me, whatever the case was, or whatever, it doesn't matter. But forever, I was like, dude, whoever I show up against, I'm going to beat them in this one-on-one, So funny. But yeah, these moments, they are big.
Well, that confidence is the secret ingredient,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, you got any plans to play any tournaments coming up or anything, huh? Maybe come on over to America a little bit and have some fun with us.
I think the only event is going to be World Cup this year. So like, why don't you come back again just for World Cup and then go back to Bali?
Maybe, could be,
It'd be fun.
It would be fun.
If it's in the flow, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, it's in the flow. It's absolutely in the flow.
Have a big dance party.
Yeah, baby.
Like
I'm in.
Just like, let's get everybody in World Cup, and we just have a big sober dance party where everybody's just moving and dancing.
Yeah. Got the
like
zest of. Yeah, we're gonna manifest that. That's coming to you live at World Cup.
100%.
Get ready for it. Yep.
Yeah,
the world's on fire now, buddy. Now we're going for it.
So this is big. So World Cup, there's only the first event in World Cup. So now it's like kind of massive, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think World Cup's going to be really big. They're trying to do a couple regional events to make up for, I don't know if you've seen it all, but they've split the pro teams into different divisions. So they've got like the Western Conference, the Southern Texan area, and then the Northeast area. So they'll do these smaller regional events, and then go into World Cup. World Cup will be all the pro teams are invited. The pro team can only play in their region for the regional events. So we won't be able to go to Texas or the Northeast one. So we'll play in our division, and then it leads into Cup, and seems like that would be the first big paintball event back from all this madness. And I think it's going to be massive. It should be. The stage is set for it to be super big,
Yeah, especially with you coming in and putting on a dance party, it's going to be monumental.
I know. I can't wait to tell Tom Cole to start promoting it. That's going to be crazy.
So if the Ironman won, then they win every tournament in the year, huh?
If they won Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they would have to win the regional too. They have to win the regional. So.
Yeah.
But so you guys get to play them in the regional, though.
Yeah. It's us, them,
that's
Impact. Right. I think Seattle Thunder, DMG, and Uprising. So yeah.
Oh, that's a nice little.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're getting ready right now. I'm so lucky. I got the gym open here in Arizona, so I'm ripping it. I'm going full tilt.
Dude, I thought we didn't care about the gym. What's up with this whole gym thing, dude? You guys hate on me for the gym, and here we are talking about the gym.
It's not a hating. You got to realize that it's not a hating.
I know.
No.
You know, I'm just giving you a hard time.
No hate. It's just, I have a gym and you don't, and I'm just gonna leave that right there.
Hey, I've been making do though. I've got these 5-gallon water jugs. I got like a really nice. Dude, they're 41 pounds. Yeah, it's nice. I've been able to like move around, dance a little bit, do some squats. It's been great. I'm feeling good. I feel good.
Marcelo, remember you gave me the perfect push-up, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's totally
the
right.
best gift anybody's ever given me. I need a perfect push-up in my life now.
Dang, dude, that was a long time ago.
Those were amazing. And the travel ones, like I bought those for like 6 years,
Yeah.
Well,
I think I tried to hold on to them at the end of my my divorce with America somehow.
Well, be expecting some perfect push-ups from Play the Game podcast. They're coming to you direct. Absolutely.
Might have a couple stickers in there. We'll see.
Yep, absolutely. I'm writing it down right now. Perfect push-up, Oliver.
The travel kinds. Yeah, it has to be the travel ones. They fold down. They're super great. Dude, Oliver, man, we can't thank you enough, man. This was a timeless piece. This is amazing. It's just awesome talking to you. Even if we weren't publishing this, if this wasn't for people to consume, this was just amazing to sit down and talk and get these.
Please don't go. Just don't go, man. Just come on back. Come on.
We're pulling them in. Let's go.
Get over here, dude.
You never know, You never know. Let's keep that open. We'll keep it open.
Yeah.
We'll be okay with it if it does, and if it doesn't, we'll be okay with it.
Absolutely.
But I would love to see you. I would love to play with you again because you guys are both amazing individuals.
Yeah.
And amazing people in my life.
Yeah, we love you all. We love you,
I love to connect you guys.
You're the best. Man. Love you, man.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable what you've done, and you're the greatest dude ever. I mean, I could just scream it from the mountaintops. We hope that we can hug you soon and see you soon, and hope you have a great day. I know it's early over there. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment over here. But I hope you I hope you have a great day over there, brother. I love you so much.
Yeah, guys, thanks for doing this for everybody in the sport, and I hope that everybody in the sport listens to this and respects you guys and helps you guys and supports you guys, whatever that may be, whether it be financial or whether it be with word of mouth or whatever the case is. And I hope that you guys get to look at each other in the eyes on Dynasty and figure out what you got to do to win this World Cup.
Absolutely.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and we'll be talking soon. We're going to be picking your brain. You're coming out for the dance party, so we'll see you soon.
Okay, beautiful.
I love you all.
Love you, dude.
Much love, guys.
Love you, bro. Hugs, bro. Wow, what a show that was. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart, the bottom of Marcelo's heart. We just want to really extend that gratitude to you and let you know how fundamental you are to the growth of this company. Play the Game is not going anywhere, and we appreciate all of you who tune in and support us in our movement for the culture of paintball and to get people to play the game all over the world. So thank you guys all for tuning in. If you want to head over to our website, you can check it out at ptgpodcast.com and become a supporter of the show there. We have a bunch of great content in there, all of the podcasts, the YouTube channel as well, which is these shows plus us playing paintball with the culture. You can check out our partners there and also stop by the store and maybe pick up a hat or a shirt. We got Play the Game merch there. Also have like a Play the Game coffee mug if you want to start your morning right with some PTG. That's where you get it. The website was built by Constant Pursuit. Absolutely astounding web development company. Rusty Glaze is building the best websites for paintball fields and stores. So if your store or field needs a website done, want to bring it into the new era and really get it looking sharp, go to constantpursuit.com. Rusty is just dominating in that sector, and we fully support him and thank him for doing our website. You can check out how good they look by going over to our website at ptgpodcast.com. If you have any questions or want us to have anything on the show or anything that interests you at all, you can go to our Instagram at Play the Game Podcast, send us a message, and we'll try and get it on the show for you guys. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we hope you have a great one.